I was thinking about it. I'm an introvert. Like I'm a painfully and always have been a painfully sort of interior person.
You can change that as much as you want. If you packed everything up, like cut the internet off and moved to a new town, like who would you be there? If you wake up every day, you have a capacity to be great.
Ask you something. Is the next 30 seconds guaranteed?
Yeah, never.
Never.
You have to answer every day when you go to bed. Were you a good person? Were you kind? Did you care about others? Or were you selfish and only thought about what you wanted?
Continuing to ask questions in like a kind or positive way.
If I can create a spot where people can come together.
Stay off the internet, stop researching, because all you're going to do is get in your head.
I did what everybody does when they're about to die. I started praying.
This might be my last fork in the road.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
Exactly. Welcome to our journey,
Where open dialogue and curiosity are the only requirements.
whether it be serious or lighthearted,
Music, heroing stories,
aliens.
or politics or comedic debauchery.
We attempt to peel the layers back and connect together in a way that's genuine and honest.
Without any script or idea what the hell is going to happen.
This is organic, curious, human interaction.
We thank you for joining us and ask if you enjoy the show, please do all the things that social media requires for its more ridiculous algorithms.
The like button, follow, subscribe, comment, and review.
And although we may have a disdain for algorithms, it's how the internets work.
But if you have as much disdain for them as we do, you can visit the website, chroniccuriosity.com. The link is in the description. You can find all of our stuff there.
And the store, Tony, which you can pick yourself up some fantastically curious merchandise.
Welcome to Chronic Curiosity.
And here we go. You'll be all right. Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, you look good, man.
Thanks.
You're solid.
You look good too.
Thanks.
For once, you have a longer beard than me.
I know. It's gotten to the point now where it's like, it's long enough that I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can get rid of it now. Are we rolling?
put it in there
We're
for
good?
you.
This
Oh, just showing
bromance
you.
started from
Check that
Chad's
out.
beard and Fred's shirt off at a concert.
It did. You remember
Oh.
that? That was the first time we met.
Yeah.
When you had this giant, beautiful beard.
It was a year-long beard.
It was, and you grow a nice beard too. It's like nice and full because you see some beards are like long, but they're like scraggly, and like you can see if you can see through the beard.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, it's.
Do you want to tell that story?
I don't.
I can tell a quick story on that.
Yeah, I don't remember the story very well. You can start. Chad Beecher, thank you.
Hey there.
We just started, so.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good. Yeah, tell the story if you
We're
want.
doing
We
it
can start
live.
Yeah, we're doing it live.
So yeah, it was Roverfest, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't remember what year that was. Probably it had to be.
Do you
what,
remember where
like
it was?
2000
Was it down? It was.
I feel like it was probably the first year in Lorraine. I think.
I know we were by water.
Yeah, I think it was the first year it was in Lorraine. So it was
Okay.
probably like what 2016, 17. When did? Because we talked about when they had
Dude.
Amanda Berry on. That was the year before it went to Lorraine.
Yeah, that's when I met the dude from Zup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Anyway, so going.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
I'll tell it. So going there, I'm starting to get into lifting weights at the very beginning. And I'm just like, man, how do you do this? And I was just curious. Everybody with big muscles, I'm like, how long you been working at? How long does it take to get to that? That level.
a
So I
long
see
time.
that. So I drink a whole bunch at that, and I got this huge long beard. I see this dude is just jacked. I'm like, man, that guy's super big. I was like, well, I'm gonna walk up to him and be like, hey man, I got a question for you. And he looks at me. He's like, I got a question for you. I was like, all right, touche. What's your question? He said, can I touch your beard? I was like, or no, I said, yeah. He's like, can I touch your beard? I said, can I touch your arms? and so like that was literally it.
Yeah. It was a big,
Yeah.
beautiful beard.
And then we just hung out the rest of the time. And then we're like, okay, well, if this is gonna happen, our girls need to meet. And
Yeah.
that has to be because it's gay if not. Just saying.
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was, yeah.
No, but that was good.
So
And then we had a good time after that. And I think we kind of made it a thing. We just went to Roverfest.
Yeah, it was.
Then we went to Dave
We went-
Matthews and
Yeah, we would venture to a couple concerts and
Yeah.
then a handful of Roverfest after that.
yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, that was a really good time. So
You keep looking at
I know.
it. Dude.
I have to get out of the way. So Chad,
It's going to be the whole podcast.
no, it's not going to be the whole podcast. We're not doing that.
Good.
But so I don't know if you've seen this before, Tony. The Great Awakening diagram. Have you heard about the Great Awakening diagram?
No.
So
You're missing out.
it's
I somehow feel that maybe I'm
But
not.
is he?
yeah, but
It gets your brain going.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably the only. I'll be the pessimist right off the bat. The only I feel like there's got to be a 5G thing in here somewhere.
There is.
I knew it.
Kofifi.
The cabal, deep state, Illuminati.
There is.
It's yeah. Can you?
I think there's I can send you the link too to post it.
Yeah, I'm not advertising
Yeah,
this.
we're not
on
trying to get shut down.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get shut down off of YouTube. We
don't
don't
do
make
that.
any money on YouTube.
Yeah, I was
We don't
gonna
want to
say,
get demonetized
be
before we
shadow banned
ever start
immediately.
making money on YouTube. But it's kind of the whole QAnon thing and
Let's just
whatnot.
let's just down
Oh
there.
yeah, there's Q. Oh
Yeah, just Q.
Q's just part
Yeah.
of the Great Awakening, Tony.
You got the rainbow body
I
right
don't
there.
even know what that is.
It's where you ascend to the 5G, the return to the source,
Oh jeez.
kind of
The
Matrix,
secret space program.
secret space program. Yep. And then-
Antarctica is Antarctica. Are they
Yeah.
like flat earthers where there's a wall there?
No.
Is Antarctica? The
I don't
one
think
where they
so.
They think there's like secret Nazi
Yes.
alliances with aliens.
yeah, that's on here for sure. Yeah. Well, so it's down there where the moon.
Tony's like,
Look, it's down there where the moon is.
this Moscow meal's not going to be enough.
No, I was thinking I'm entirely too sober for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get some shots
Yeah.
so
So
we can get on the same page.
Dark side of the moon's down there. So it talks about that.
man.
Talks about the bases. It talks about the Nazis, the breakaway Nazis, all kinds of stuff.
All
Man.
types of fun stuff.
It's
The
very
pyramids. I
fun.
see some pyramids on here.
You would
I
like,
like
that.
pyramids.
There's Antarctica right there above your finger.
Psilocybin. I can get down with psilocybin.
Yeah.
There's DMT somewhere I saw.
Ooh, the MK Ultra. Oh yeah, DMT's down there.
It's a fun map,
Dimethyltryptamine.
dude.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing. I figure we can get it framed and hang it up somewhere in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, man.
It's well, that's I was talking to Chad when he brought it in. I was like, oh, this is how we're doing this. This is this is where it's gonna start. It's kind of what like it kind of fits in with the to me at least. We'll quantify this. I'll get this out of here so I don't stare at it the whole time.
You will.
Yeah, because it'll
That'll be a
just
distraction.
be too distracting.
Yes.
But thank you. That's an interesting piece of art,
Yeah, buddy.
if nothing else. When we talked about it, it was like, there's so much out there that sometimes people just need to like, at least I'm thinking like people just like need something to entertain them. And I feel like, cause there's a lot of truth around weird things, the like conspiracy theories, like we've talked about, it was like project, like Northwood,
Yeah.
it's different things
Yeah.
like these conspiracy theories, and people are like, oh, if you believe in conspiracies, you're crazy. But and with the whole, Fauci thing going on now, where it's like, oh, you shouldn't wear a mask. You should wear a mask. Well, I told you shouldn't wear a mask because we didn't want this. But so like I'm saying I'm lying to you, but now you should. But then the emails come out and it says that they're not effective. Whatever it is.
It's like a wedding crashers thing right there.
Yeah, but like, and then all of a sudden it just devolves into this thing because I think particularly in 2020 because a lot of people you had so much time on your hands.
Yeah.
So it was like I need something entertaining. So it's like some of it, it's dilute some of the crazy things that actually happen on a daily basis within the government, whatever it is, gets diluted by people just trying to have fun.
Well, dude, and
talking about lizard aliens.
Well, and the thing is too is like if you sit there and say, lizard aliens, that you're crazy, but then it just tells everybody else, don't look into it, right? Because that's crazy to look into, but it's fun to look into that stuff, man. Like you look into it and then you have to realize, but like you and I were talking, there's people that can go into it and have that mindset of like, hey, this is probably not real, but it's so much fun to look into. But
like the whole Bigfoot thing.
Yeah, exactly. But
like
then you have
it's a
other
guilty
people.
Pleasure,
Yeah, but then you have other people that look into it and they're like, no, but Bigfoot's real. And like, I literally had a buddy that saw him, and like, you're crazy if you don't believe it.
It's like that
So,
Chris
like-
Farley thing. Well, my buddy. No. Well,
Yeah.
I know this guy
No, you don't.
that had a buddy. That no, you don't.
But that's the whole thing. Like, but the thing is, I was telling my wife on the way here, I was like, if I sit there and I tell you like, oh, those are some good looking cornrows over there, you're gonna believe that based on what I say. But if you want to seriously quantify whether or not those are really good cornrows right there, you have to look into it. You have to
You
say
figure
like,
out how to plant corn.
well, or just
and talk
talk
to a
some-
farmer.
Yeah, but you have to look into it. You can't just take it for face value, because if you take it for face value, then it's like, oh, yeah, aliens, reptiles, deep space programs, blah 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 blah. Yep, that's all there.
Nazis are in
Yeah,
Antarctica.
Nazis are in Antarctica.
Hitler's still alive. Him and Elvis are hanging out.
I was trying to figure out if we were talking about crops or hair when he
No,
said
no, I think he was talking about crops. Yeah,
Yeah, we don't want to get on hair.
yeah, no.
Thanks.
I did that.
Thanks for the
thought went
hairspray,
through
Cassie.
my-
Appreciate that.
It looks good.
Thanks,
it looks
bro.
solid. I feel like I could like.
It's one of those Johnny Bravo type things. You just gotta get out of the shower and be like, "Whoa!"
Oh,
I'm just playing, dude.
It's all right.
It's not all
so,
right.
so how did you get in? Not maybe not. I don't want
I
to.
thought we weren't going to have the whole podcast about that.
No, that's true. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't care.
We're only 10 minutes in. It's
Yeah,
all right.
we've covered a lot.
Yeah,
Are both those knives on there? So if I need an out, I can just kill myself.
yeah, they're sharp.
I was
Yeah.
hoping you were going to go like, I need to take Chad out.
Yeah, no, Tony would do it. He's a nice guy.
Can
Alright.
I see that one?
Which I mean, you can see both of them if you
I
want.
want to see one if he sees one.
I mean, whatever. Yeah,
All
pass
right,
it
yeah,
in.
toss one over here.
Don't cut yourselves though. Those are sharp. I just
Is
finished
this the
those.
Fred special?
I mean, it's not. I don't know if I'd say special, but I just
You made 'em?
finished them up. Yeah,
Oh,
just
cool.
kind of like a utility kind of deal.
Dude, you're a man of many talents.
I don't know if I'd say talents. It's more
Well, you re-roofed your own.
determination and curiosity, as it were.
You re-roofed your own house. I can't say I've done that.
Yeah, let's.
You did help us though.
Yeah,
I
you were
did.
here in your
Well,
skinny jeans.
I wasn't I?
Yeah.
Stretchy ones.
Yeah, he was up on the roof in skinny jeans. doing the
Tony,
things.
you can re-roof a house with skinny jeans. Just
Yeah.
wanted to let you know.
You can. You might
Food for
ruin.
thought.
Yeah, you might ruin the skinny jeans.
No, it's proof. I did it. You don't ruin them.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Well,
were fine afterwards. I still
That's
wear them till this day.
to this day, that
Yeah.
was a long time ago.
I know.
Well, good for you.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate the help.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, as always, I'm like, if I can figure out how to do something myself,
Yeah.
then I have a really hard time paying somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hate paying people money to do something that I can do.
I think so. I like asking people like, "What's your passion?" So I've got a guy that cuts my hair. You know,
Right.
I'm like, "What's your passion?" And
that's a dumb question.
but
well,
but
maybe not.
it's not.
It just
So the funny part about it is,
like
is
crocheting or something.
it's not crocheting, but his passion's similar to yours. You ready?
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, what's your passion, dude?" I said, "Is it hair?" I don't think it's hair, because he does that. He does DJing, music production, stuff like
okay.
that, and video games. And it seems like he seems a lot like you. Like he always does stuff, masters it, and he's like, "Yep, check mark, did that."
I don't master things. I just get moderate.
I just sat there and looked at two awesome knives. I believe
I'm
you
just saying
mastered
in
that.
general,
Yeah.
I get moderately good at things.
As we're talking
in
on a
general.
table as well, that you.
I didn't do all this by myself either.
Come on, take some credit, dude.
I'm just saying I didn't.
Okay. Anyway, so the guy that cuts the hair, I said, "What's your passion?" He's like, "Well, I really don't know." I said, "Well, I think it's getting something in your head. You find out, you're like, okay, video games. I want to get good at Fortnite." And then he masters it. I said, "You enjoy mastering it." You know what I'm saying?
So, okay, just click real quick.
Screen went black.
That's weird.
You disappeared, but you are back, Chad.
Oh,
Dude, it's that map
Continue.
over there.
it is. They're trying to shut us down.
Seriously.
Told you.
That's going to happen. I'm going to walk up there and it's not going to be my wife. It's just going to be somebody saying, "You're coming with us."
It's a lizard alien. Sorry,
Probably.
go ahead. So passion.
But anyways, his passion is like mastering something, right? So he sits there and he masters something.
as long as it's
not
not. Hey,
bait.
well, Tony. Speaking of, Tony brought in.
Weird segue.
Yeah, it was, but I just made the connection, so we're just doing it. We can get back to the passion because I feel like there's a story that you're
There it
telling,
is. Yeah.
but I feel like
You may finish it real quick.
yeah, go ahead and finish it.
All
and
right,
we'll
so
talk about
yeah, that's
the-
cool. Thanks, Dad.
Sorry.
So, anyways, he masters things, right? So it's video games. He sat there and mastered it. He's like, "I'm really good at Fortnite. I'm top, whatever, right? DJing and stuff like that." He got DJ equipment and basically got to a point to where he's like really good and just can bring it anywhere and just start spinning stuff. Haircut, obviously, does a great job. Just saying.
Looks
And
good.
then other things like that. Like he just got really into like dancing with like EDM music and stuff like that. Got mastered at that. So I said, "I think that's your passion." And he sat there and looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I guess you're right. I like getting good at something and mastering it." And I think you're a lot of the same, dude. Just trying to give you a compliment. You like getting good at something, mastering it, and being like, "Yep, did it." You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I think for me, I would say it leans a little more towards the curiosity and learning. That's what I enjoy because
the process.
Yeah, and my mom actually, it's funny. My mom actually caught on way before I did. You know, funny how parents do that, right? When I was a teenager, long story kind of short, I used to love football. I played football from the second I could play tackle football. That was my deal. I didn't want to play flag football because it was like, if I want to play football, I want to hit people.
A little soft.
Yeah.
Too soft for you.
Yeah, no thanks. So I started playing as soon as I could play tackle. I started playing, and then I got into high school, and I've talked about it before, where like high school is not a thing for me because it was like I just realized how stupid it was.
Yeah.
At that point in time, and I wasn't able to play my junior year because of some factors that happened my sophomore year. Whatever. I'll leave that behind. But I still lifted. I still practiced with a team. I was still allowed to practice once a week. I didn't find out that I couldn't play until after 2 days were done. So like you play like 2 days, like in the late summer, and then you go into like practice, and then you start playing games or whatever. And my sophomore or freshman year? Our football team went to state. Like so, it was a football school.
Yeah,
and that's what like that was my passion.
Was it like D1 or whatever it was?
No, we were. It's a small school. We were a small school.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But we were still in that realm of that weight class, as it were.
Yeah.
We were great, and we just destroyed all the teams around us every single year, all the time. So it was like not only was it like a passion, but it was like a community passion in the area. There's a trash can right down there too, if you want to.
I'm gonna recycle it.
Okay, you do you, boo.
Take it back home.
You do you. So my junior year, I wasn't able to play football. Wasn't able to play. But every Friday night I was out there with my jersey.
Yeah, you're grinding out.
I wasn't able like to dress. I just was staying out there in my jeans and my jersey, and I practiced and I lifted and did all the things because I was good. Like, and then after that, I started working and living on my own. I quit. I was like, you know what? Next year I'm not playing. Screw this. Like I was pissed. I was pissed at the school because of some of the things went down. And my mom was like, you know what? That's just like you. She must have been really pissed at me because she was never like really like bitchy to me.
Oh, this is the mom kicking the butt.
Yeah, but it was like she was like, you know what? That's just like you.
You would.
She's like, whenever you get good at something, you quit. And it was like, oof. But then I was too pissed off. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking quitting, and I'm not doing this. Like, so now, but then like I realized later on in life, I was like, oh, like I just like getting good at things. I like learning things. I like acquiring skills and like knowing how to do, and just I like learning stuff. It's not necessarily mastering it, because every single time I do something, I get done with it and I'm like, I could have not cut that corner or cut that corner. But
no, but that's the perfectionist in you. You're always looking to see what you can improve upon.
Yeah, but some people don't. You know, some people like learning, but they like mastering things, and they do it really well.
You're talking about singularity. Like they sit there and they're like, okay, I'm gonna be a carpenter for the rest of my life. I'm a master at that. And you're like, do you want to try woodwork or like making knives? You're like, I'm not a master at that. That's I think that you are good at doing that mastering, man. Like you master it. Like I don't know anybody else that can make a knife. Zero.
Yeah, but I could point you to a lot of directions that a lot of people that would make
better knives.
Much better.
Of course. There's always going to be some. Well, all right. So
just saying.
So when you sit there and you say master, right? Your thought process is master is the top, number 1 out of 10.
Man, maybe not number 1.
Well,
like top 10, like being able to create
in the world.
No,
or in Worcester?
No, I'm saying being able to create a product, or being able to do what you do, and that being like at a very, very high level. That's what I would consider master. Yeah, pretty good is not awesome.
That's awesome.
No,
I'm gonna keep telling. I'm trying to help you out.
All right, no, we can stop stroking my ego now.
I'm just
this hat's getting tight.
All right,
it's starting to cut off circulation.
I mean,
but at the same time, well, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but like, look at the podcast thing, right? You could have just easily set up 2 mics and said, let's just talk. But you've got cameras, you've got a TV right there, you got a lady that's doing an awesome job switching stuff around, a table that's badass, and then
the table is Tony's idea.
Well, I know, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, but the idea of doing this, you were like, let's not do half-ass, let's do whole ass. Right?
Yeah.
He likes whole ass, Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
not just one cheek.
No, I'm more of like And I get what you're saying. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
I just want you to
No,
acknowledge that.
I do. I appreciate what you're saying.
All right.
But in my mind, at least, I'm more of like a 3/4 ass kind of guy. Like where I'm like, you know what? Like because
Can I Google that and see what that looks
I
like?
have no idea. I have no idea.
I
But
would not hit the image button on that.
no, I would. Yeah, I would suggest not to. Let's not put that up on the screen. But at least in my, maybe you're right. I have been the last few episodes and people we've talked to. I have been. They've proven me wrong, and I've been able to put down my, my fight, as it were. But I see myself as more of a 3/4 ass.
But that's all
kinda
right
guy.
though. Because if you saw yourself as like, oh, yeah, I am top dog, you get that part of your psyche that just goes, oh yeah, I'm already there, and then you quit. There was advice that was given to me one time that said, it was from a CIO, Chief Information Officer. He said, if you ever get to a point in your life to where you feel like you've succeeded and you stop trying to progress, you're actually not just stagnant. You're going back. You're sliding back. You have to always progress in whatever you're doing to keep that forward momentum, because you won't progress if you're just kind of like set in your ways.
Right.
So if you just say, oh yeah, I know how to make a knife. All right, that's it. Or I know how to make this table. Like that's it. I'm not going to try anymore. If you're 3/4 of the way there, you're going to try more because you're like, I want to try to get that last quarter right. Ass.
Right. Yeah. No,
I'm just saying
I
that
agree,
I'm not
'cause-
trying to, like, again, like I say this to you over text a lot. Like, dude, this is awesome. I can't believe you're doing this. Oh, make me a beard shaver thing. It's like, it's so cool, but that's your talents. Those are your things.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to find something.
Yeah.
We had a guy, Josh Snyder, in here. We asked him that question, like, how do you? Because he has a lot of passions that he's like, I have too many,
Oh.
and I can kind of understand that. We're like, I have too many hobbies. Because I
Hobby
just,
ADD.
yeah, I enjoy so many things, but like in my mind, I'm like, well, like the knife thing, I enjoy doing that, and I do different things.
Yeah.
But it's like, it'll be there when I retire, at least, hopefully.
Well, if
I
something
get to
happens,
retire.
you can always fall back to that.
Yeah, but you have to be able to make money on doing that. But
Yeah,
it was
true,
more of a
true.
how do you find your passions? Like,
Yeah.
I know just from quick referencing in my brain that you enjoy your Hondas. And
I like all Hondas.
Yeah, and you not necessarily a collector, but you've had more than probably necessary at
Currently,
one
I
time.
have 4 or 5.
Right. So like, but just is that like a passion for you, or is it just a?
No, it's
How do you?
It's more of a hobby. Like, because the thing is like, whenever I go buy a car, like, what kind of car do you drive, Tony? I don't even know.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, I have a few.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, but when you buy a car, do you just buy like a regular old car? Like, that looks like a decent car. Or
Oh no, I mean I've got some pretty all
you're
my
looking
vehicles
for
are pretty
that.
Sweet.
You're looking for the specific car with
Yeah.
that trim level and that sunroof, and it's like, but it has to have leather too, but it has to be red or whatever.
Oh, I mean for me, it's each one has a function. So
Right.
and that's
You
kinda
can't
what
take
I
a
look
convertible
for.
off roading. Right.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty badass.
I
Depends
guess
on
you
how
could.
much you want to party.
Yeah.
Right?
Whistling Dixie. Or no, it was Whistling Diesel. Have you guys seen that on YouTube?
I don't think I have seen
Dude,
that.
this Whistling Diesel dude, he starts taking just like random stuff. Like he took a Toyota Hilux, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
Top Gear, like.
Oh, you know what?
and
I think I did see that
Yes.
guy. He's a young kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I did
And the
see
thing
that.
is like he comes off like, oh, I'm going to destroy stuff. And I saw him on this other channel called Street Speed 717. And that guy's got Corvette stuff, and he's a cool dude, But he was on there, and they were racing their trucks, diesel trucks. And I thought, well, that's cool. And then this guy, he had like this $100,000 or $200,000 F-350 or something like that, jacked way up, all kinds of stuff. This any lift, like it just was this crazy stuff. And he was just driving the crap out of it, right? And I thought, well, that's cool. So I started following him. Then he just destroyed the shit out of it. Like he literally sat there and destroyed the shit out of it, buried it in the ground, started doing all kinds of stuff, like just destroyed this truck to frame, basically. I thought, dude, that's a shitload of money. But that's his MO. So he'll go buy a car. So he bought a Ford Ranger, right? Because everybody's like, oh yeah, Ford Rangers, those are the best. And he's like, yeah, they're not. And everybody was like, yeah, but that thing could tow 1,000 pounds, or whatever it is. And so he sits there and he'll buy a car, destroy it, and basically make people cry. So his last one was a Toyota Hilux.
Where's he get all that money?
YouTube, dude.
That's
You'll
right.
get there, bro. You'll get there.
Highly doubtful.
Yeah, you'll start buying crazy stuff. But anyway, so he bought a Honda Ridgeline. And so he's like, yeah, everybody says this thing is a truck. Let's see.
I mean, it's not a truck.
No.
But he bought the Toyota Hilux in hopes to destroy it. Dude, the thing, he went off-road to the point to where he was like going over these Jeep trails, and the Jeep dudes couldn't even make it up the trail. And he's sitting there trucking it up with the stock Hilux. It was crazy. So I don't know how I got on that, but I was just like, oh, yeah. Passions. Yeah. So he had a Honda Ridgeline on there. And dude, that thing lasted a little bit. Like it just didn't go that far.
Yeah.
But then he had a Cummins diesel, like it was like a 24 valve or something like that. He stuck a semi. Yeah, he pulled a semi with it. Yeah, he's through the woods.
Dude, he ran like 3 trees over too.
Yeah, no, it was 3 trees per second, not 3 trees. Yeah, it was like a shitload. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But anyways, so yeah, I would say like for me, like I've got a S2000.
I was literally gonna ask if you had an S2000.
Yeah, so I got a S2000. I got a Type R Civic, one of the new ones. The TL I've got 6-speed all-wheel drive TL. It's hard to come by. My wife, she drives a MDX Advanced, not just like the basic one. And then it's like, I got a GSR Integra 4-door. It's just silly stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't just go and say, I just need to get a hatchback Civic because I need a car from point A to point B. Like I needed this specific one that's got this to this.
Why?
I don't know. Because why not?
Just
Dude,
is.
if you get in your car and you're like, yeah, I just need to get down the road, then yeah, just go buy a cheap ass car and you'll be fine. But I like to get down the road and have a good stereo or just have fun. You know, I had a Honda Accord that sucked.
He's like, that sucked.
Yeah, I drove my mom's minivan. That sucked too.
This is a 1984 Honda Civic. How dare you?
Yeah.
Did you ever have an NSX?
No. So
I saw one the other day.
New one or old one?
Yeah, new or old. Pop-up headlights or not?
No, it was.
Unless they did the conversion on the old one with the headlights.
Yeah, no, I think it was a. Well, how old
they've got
are the newer ones now though?
So they had that. So they had the
them
super old ones, the pop-up headlights, and then it was like
2 years or something that they did.
Well, they did the rounded ones, right? Those were the really hard to come by ones. It was like the refresh model.
Mm-hmm.
Then they stopped. Then there was the nuclear explosion, Fukushima or whatever it was that happened. So they had a V10 NSX that they were going to deploy or make. And that all happened. And then so that stopped development. And then a few more years came out, and then they came out with the V6 twin turbo. That's the new ones, hybrid.
And that's made down by you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Literally like right down the street.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole design center and everything's right down the street.
Yep. Those things are, they got a lot of technology in them.
Yeah. No, I think it's too much, man.
It could, yeah. I mean, I've watched a couple of videos. I haven't actually sat in one or seen it, but
yeah, it's a lot going on. So think of it this way: if you have a car, I guess I'll bring it back to the Great Awakening. Ready?
No, you don't have to.
I'm just gonna do it.
We can leave it.
Watch. We'll leave it.
I'm gonna need that bourbon.
Yeah. There's that Moscow Mule. So, but think about it this way. I was thinking about this. My Type R Civic. If I in the actual stereo, I can turn on and off the rev matching. Right in the stereo. What happens if the stereo goes out? I don't know. Too much electronics, man.
Yeah.
So the old NSXs, the old S2000s, the first S2000s, AP1, by the way, I have an AP2. The computers and stuff are like very minimal on those, even though there's an ECU. But if something happens, like a solar flash, Great Awakening, then all that's fried. You know, you go back to the olden days where it's like carbureted and everything like that. Those cars, something like that happens, they're just like, okay.
He's driving.
Yeah, they're like, we're good. So
there's not too many of those left anymore.
I know. We're reliant on that and like GPS, like lane keep assist and everything.
Yeah, I don't rely on lane keep. Dude, I don't have any of that.
It's
stuff.
Have you ever driven a car that's got that?
No,
it's the weirdest thing. So like you're like, I don't need that. And then you turn it on, and you start messing with something real quick. And you're like, oh, that was nice. I didn't have to hit the rumble and, you know?
Jesus, you're one of those drivers. Huh?
Well, no. Well, I mean, come on. You've never done that, Fred? Give me a break. Let's just say no legally. But theoretically, you could have.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's so weird with just having this one car. You get reliant on that technology.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Which one's your favorite? Can you pick? Well,
no,
I should say, can you pick one?
No, but like you just said, there's a form and function for each thing, right?
So if you had to pick one car, you were forced to, which one would you pick?
To drive for the rest of my life?
Yeah, let's just say.
You want to hear a weird thing? It'd be a basic car.
Yeah.
Hatchback Civic. You know why? Because about my Type R, and I've got my wife that's pregnant, and my kid in the car with a baby on board sticker on the back, and I get this van riding my butt, and he's just riding my butt. That's kind of weird. Is he triggered by my car? And then we get off the highway, and I tap my brakes, as in just lit the brake light up. Dude, he didn't like that. So then we got down the road, and it's a stoplight coming up. I tap my brake light and maybe pressed it a little bit, so it slows down a little bit. This dude went through the freaking roof, and he sat there, went around me and cut off and stopped sideways, and I had to slam on my brakes, almost hit him. And it's a minivan, this dude, and he's just losing his mind. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? So finally, I start losing my mind because I've realized, like, I got a pregnant wife and a kid, and I'm like,
now I'm going to escalate the situation.
I'm like, yeah, I wasn't like Fred, to where it's like, I'm confused. Like,
we don't need to.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We'll leave it. But anyways, so
we can tell that story.
Yeah,
after.
afterwards.
I think,
Yeah.
Is this another concert one?
Blossom.
Yeah,
I
heard
for it
that.
just-
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
did
heard it a
you?
couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, that was great. Anyways, so like that happens, and then like it's a stoplight. It's a small town I live in. He turned right. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's go see what your problem is real quick, just to inquire about that.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
so
inquire.
because I was like, I'm a little heated. I know you're off the rails, so I pull over. He pulls off, and I'm like, I think that's the wrong move, brother. So he rolls down his window, and I just start looking at him. I said, what's going on? And he just starts screaming at me. I was like, you need to calm down. And then it slowly escalated. Like,
That's
you
the
need to calm
worst thing I
down.
say.
And I
How
started.
did you learn anything by being married?
Yeah,
You don't
no.
tell people to calm down when they're upset.
I know, but no. But listen to me. So like, I said, you need to calm down, and I slowly started raising my voice to a point where I was screaming, "You need to calm the f down. Look, I got kids in the car. So do you." And he just was like freaking out. And he just clicked, and he's like, and he started going. He just realized, like, he was out of body experience. He was like, oh yeah, I'm a dad. I have kids in the car. I'm in a van, and that guy's got kids too. I just about caused an accident. Because it's like your brain detaches, and it's like you go into this primal, just, this guy pissed me off, I'm going to like break your face.
Yeah, there's something deeper there, though, man, because not everybody does that.
It happened twice.
Yeah.
Same guy?
No, two different. No, it was a woman.
You ready to this guy again?
No, dude, it was like a week's time. There was a CRV that did the same, that didn't go in front of me, but like she was just had a problem with my existence on the planet with a big wing on the back, because the Civic has a big wing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to calm down, lady. Like, these people got to calm down. It hasn't happened, honestly, recently, but it was like right when I first got it. So I changed how I drive. I don't drive silly like, any normal racer would or whatever. I try to be courteous, use turn signals and stuff, because everything is hyper inflated. Like,
Sure.
Oh, people are just looking for a reason
Yeah.
to piss off some of these.
I feel like there's a stigma attached to Japanese vehicles as well that have some modifications.
So when you ask, like, hey, what car would you drive if you had to pick one? The most
Not
basic,
that one.
the
He's like,
basic
something
damn,
just not drawing attention. Is what
yeah.
you're saying.
So it would be probably a car that I know is fast, that doesn't look fast, that has a lot of features that nobody else knows about, because I don't want to dick with it, man.
No.
I don't want anybody messing with me. I just want to go down the road and just wave at him with my baby on board sticker on the back and my Blue Lives Matter thing.
And have fun while you're at
And just have fun with jamming out, and then if they want to mess with me, I'll floor it and blow their doors off.
it. I get that.
Yeah.
I've been down that path before. I know I one of the worst financial mistakes I ever made
Do you still have your Civic?
was buying a newer Civic. I don't. I sold it a long time
The
ago.
black one?
Oh, no, I sold that too.
Did you?
Yeah, fantastic
Thank
story.
God.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that
I'll-
was really weird that you had that.
Oh, it was so great. But so
This is going to be a Honda podcast, by the way.
yeah, apparently
All right.
that's where it goes.
I like cars.
Yeah. And so years and years ago when I was younger, I lost my license for a bit because I owned
I did too.
a couple cars that were faster than I probably should have been driving. But I had one. It was a CRX. It was my favorite car.
Oh, really?
Favorite car I ever had.
What year?
91.
Oh, cool. That's like the last year they made it.
92.
No, it's 91, brother. Google it.
Yeah, when did they stop? When did they stop
Wiki
making the CRXs?
CRX,
I thought
hold
it was 92. She'll look it up.
All right.
Yeah,
I have 2 phones.
Yeah, I know. I have 2 phones too, but one's for
Is
work.
there a song about that?
Yeah. Yeah, but
1991.
Told you.
oh, there you go. Sorry.
Was it SI?
You know.
I'm a Honda guy, dude.
Yeah. No, so it had a
Swap?
B16A swap in it.
What?
Yeah.
How have we not talked about this?
I don't know. We're talking about it now.
Let's do it.
So it was my favorite car with
Mhm.
with like the wheelbase and the weight ratio
Power
and
to
just
rate.
everything just was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
and it
great.
it tacked out at like 9.3 RPM. It was like 9.
Mm,
It did.
maybe 8.
No.
B16s don't top out at 9 something. The highest
did.
the highest maybe if you had it tuned.
It did.
Oh, all right.
See?
All right.
Yeah. I remember I had this giant tachometer.
If you don't believe me, I'll put the eye drops in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. So it was a really fun car. But I was working on
Oh, sorry.
getting a turbo set up
Really?
for it until I totaled it. But
Oh,
it was one of those cars where it didn't like it fit the bill for like a quote unquote racer
of course.
because it was a Honda.
When did you have it?
It was early 2000s.
Yeah, Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it was but it didn't look. It had some like alloy rims on it, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was.
What color?
It was lowered. They were just silver.
No, car.
Oh, it was red.
Oh, okay.
So
All
it was a red CRX.
That
It
teal
had-
was like my favorite color.
that's so ugly.
Yeah,
Sorry,
whatever.
it's okay.
You
Yeah,
suck.
but it was red with like the plastic, like black
Yeah.
board in the bottom, and then just had like normal alloy rims on it.
Okay.
So it didn't look anything. I didn't have a giant wing
We
or
call
a
that a
ground
sleeper.
effects kit or any of that.
As a sleeper, baby.
Yeah, so it was really fun because like I just drove it around. No, normally people didn't mess with me, but every once in a while, like I'd get a Mustang or something.
Right.
They're like, "Ugh,
Was it a V6 Mustang?
No, I had a
Those
couple.
guys
No,
suck.
I had a couple V8s, a couple Camaros. Every once in a while, I'd be like, "Ugh," you know,
Yeah.
you stupid
Oh.
Hondas, this, that, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
Fred's car.
Except, yeah, it looked.
Dude, you know those
Yeah.
things are worth like 12 grand these days?
It's so.
Dude,
I would love to have one.
Bro, did you have a sweet fart can on the back of it too?
No, so it had a custom exhaust.
Oh,
The exhaust tip was probably about this big.
About that big. Right.
No, it was smaller. It was smaller. Than
That's
that.
about 4.5 inch right there.
No, this one it was oblong, so it fit right up in there. It was
Well, the weird thing
Very
about it,
non-
it goes over the axle and then it goes sideways.
Yeah.
And then it comes back out.
Yeah.
Same as the 92 Integra.
yeah.
that
So
own.
I don't know anything about that.
All right,
But,
go ahead.
But yeah, so it was not. It wasn't just giant. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
super loud.
We call that a sports exhaust.
Yeah, but it was a, from header back. So
Yeah.
it was like a, it would scream once you got up in
course,
the
VTEC.
RPM ranges. Yeah,
VTEC.
hit 4.5 down. Just wah, yeah.
What was that again?
Wah.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what it sounded like.
right.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
do. I'm not going to say it though.
Yeah, I'll say it, whatever. But it was one of those sleeper things where like some Camaro or Mustang would pull up and they'd be like, "Oh, you Honda, blah blah blah, whatever." I'm
I
like,
think they just look over and rev it.
yeah. So I'm
And
like,
you'd be like, but my car's faster.
I'd be like, it's okay. I had a couple times where they would always get me out of the gate. Right, you're never gonna.
Yeah, your
with a
front wheel
V8.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, front wheel drive. They got a V8. They have all that torque.
They have the thing called torque. You don't.
Yeah. As soon as I hit in third gear, it was just, whoom,
Yeah.
gone. And then they'd be like, you could just see them like,
Oh, lit off.
as I just like fly past. They're like, what the hell is that? Like, I had a couple times. I had a Camaro pull up afterwards at the next stoplight or something. He's like, dude, what's in there? I said, no, it's just a Honda, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that's fun, not being
Yeah.
like the jerk that's running around like
Yeah.
messing with people. But I mean,
Dude,
I
there's
hit
a guy
like
that's-
150 miles per hour in that car, like in a Honda
That's
CRX.
pretty damn. Dude, in a CRX, that's scary.
It started floating.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
could feel it. It
'Cause
was like, I was like, oh, this is way too fast for this thing.
That's
Yeah.
if you look at that car, it's square. That's not an aerodynamic car.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
After about 130, I was like, this does not feel safe.
No, 120. Dude.
your drag coefficient.
Yeah,
is like
that's what I'm trying to say.
Brick.
Yeah, well, it's somewhat like aerodynamic from the front to the back, and it was lower too, so it sat like
Oh,
not like super, but it was. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, so it wasn't. It was. It
You
was
know what a
fun, though.
neat, you know what a neat car is that had that motor in its stock from the factory. They sold in the United States. It was the Del Sol.
Yeah, the Del Sols had that motor.
So, well, some of them did.
So, well, yeah, not all of them.
I found one. I don't want to have a whole Honda podcast here, but I found one in Denver that was a 95 that had that B16 in it. It's like a B16 A1 versus A2, which is probably what you swapped in there. The A2, I think, is from the 99 2000 SIs. Anyways, but it's got that older style one in there. It's a couple differences, whatever, but it's stock. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's my cousin actually had one of those.
Really?
The blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it had the little target roof on it, and it had that because he
Yeah.
looked and he's like, I have to have this motor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this thing's pretty fast. We used to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those
They
motors
weigh-
are something special.
They weigh a bunch. Like the Del Sol's way more than the Civics.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about it is it's all stock. So that's my thing. Is like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like you buy something like a Civic Type R. Of course, somebody could buy a hatchback Civic and make it faster. But you buy the
drop
Civic,
a Corvette engine in it.
yeah, or whatever you want to do, right? Or
Yeah.
jet engine, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you buy that car,
Or
it already has that
Bob
stuff in it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we're bringing it back.
Bringing it
Yes.
back.
So, but anyways, yeah. So, you do that, and it's there. You don't have to worry about it. It's got a warranty, and you're good. So, but yeah, man, those cars are fast. They're fun. And the thing is, too, I realize with a Type R, you don't get traction first or second. Third, you start getting traction. There's any fun in that. Imagine having like a Corvette with 700 horsepower. You're not getting traction anywhere, and you have to get traction above like 60 or 70 mile per hour. What fun is
I've
that?
got one. Depends on the tires.
Yeah, what fun is that
So,
though?
yeah, I mean,
You hit the gas, you're like, well, not getting traction at this stoplight.
It's pretty fun. So
Well, going
it's,
so-
it's a Z06. It's putting down about 600 of the wheels.
Yeah.
So
It's
No,
a pretty
it's-
sweet car.
it-
It is a pretty
I mean,
sweet
it's-
car. And they
it's fun,
sound
man.
real nice.
I
I'll say,
know.
you know,
yeah,
there
it's
is one thing.
cammed and
Yeah, there is one thing that a car like that,
If it was a Mustang, maybe I'd give you crap.
oh, dude,
Or just watch out.
unless it was like an old school like 5.0, those Fox body 5.0s, those things
Yeah.
are badass.
Those are neat, but
No,
you
I
know how
love
slow
those.
those are? Those are actually really like stock. Those are really
Oh,
slow.
well,
Yeah.
stock, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I just
you
never
slap
realized.
that 5.0, slap a supercharger on that bad
Yeah.
boy.
But back in the
Popping
day, like we thought
wheelies.
those things were really like fast. But looking now, you have a modern, like a regular Honda Accord. Blow the doors off that
Well,
thing.
yeah,
man.
but you're talking regular. Well, it's like, well, you buy a Tesla, it can hit 0 to 60 under 2 seconds now.
Well, but we're
But
not
what
doing
fun's
that.
that? Psst, that's it.
That's a lot.
No, I mean,
Because what else are you gonna do? Like 100 to 180? Like you can't do that anywhere, really. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you get a car, like well, yeah, but live where I live, right? There's
oh yeah,
the
Yeah.
police are really motivated
yeah,
to not have you do that.
understandably.
Yeah. Yeah, here
Understandably.
it's like, let me just find this back road, right?
yeah, but then you have to worry
Yeah,
about bumps and
not
stuff.
yeah, not on the back
Your
road,
guys-
man.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it on a highway where it's smoother. If you're getting
Yeah.
above 150, like things
Yeah.
start to get a little bit sketch.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a car built to do 200,
Yeah.
so
My wife was
Oh,
getting
yeah.
car sick on one of the roads coming here. We were just going, it's doing this thing, and she's like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, going straight. Like it's just this road's a little wonky, man.
yeah. No, I appreciate any cars, man. I got that one just because I wanted to track it.
Oh, okay.
The Mid Ohio or Nelson's. I haven't had time to. I came from like the motorcycle background.
Yeah.
But man, any of those cars. I had a like a decently built Talon with the 4G63.
Oh,
I know
really?
those old
Yeah,
TSI.
oh, yeah.
Dude.
Old
It
TSI.
had
Yes.
the, yeah,
I had one of those too.
Yeah, had that.
The GST Eclipses or
yeah, it had the-
GSX Eclipse, man.
It was the front wheel drive, so it was the
Yeah.
the T.
It still squats though.
Yeah,
Those
that's a
things went whoop.
crazy torque steer.
Yeah.
I had I had the WRX. It was pretty built too.
Okay.
So yeah, I went
Nice.
from the tuners and back and forth, and I've got my eyes on something in the near future, but it's
Okay.
gonna
Well-
take a little more coin for that one. So
Just do it, man.
yeah,
Because your coin ain't gonna be worth much down the road.
Yeah, I want to
called
get
inflation.
I want to
You
get a
heard about that?
720. So McLaren,
Okay. So follow Savage Garage on YouTube.
they have.
Yeah, they've got
Pretty sweet.
they've got some things. There was a guy on there that had a 720, and he was gonna, or no, it was a 765 LT.
Ooh,
He was
those
gonna,
are-
yeah, he was gonna do all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff to it. And the thing is, he was like, oh shit, keeps breaking, dude. He's like
This-
everything.
the set. I've talked to a couple guys that have the 720s, and they actually said they're not too bad in terms of stuff breaking. So I don't know if the 65s were different. I know the old.
They were just
Those are
talking about
sweet.
the yeah. So they were just talking about the reliability of the things. Like they said, it's kind of like if you dial it in, you're good.
Yeah.
But if you get one that's got some like the
Then-
doors start having issues,
then the
opening,
entire time it's going to have issues.
it's all like there was one that they couldn't get the door to open on the car, and it was something so weird that they pulled a fuse behind the driver's side, and then they could open it. They put the fuse back in, and it was fine. Just
Gotcha.
this wonky thing. So the guy was like, "Screw this! I'm buying an SVJ."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And the SVJ, you just get in, you blast it, you put some like straight pipe thing on
Yeah.
it, and you're good.
Yeah,
you know?
the other one I do like, and it's just because it's not crazy exotic, is the 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, those are like Honda Civics of supercars, man.
That's
but
why
they're
I
just-
love
yeah,
those 911s.
They're just so fast, man. Like
Yeah.
I watched the video and it beat that Lamborghini that you were talking about. It beat the
SVJ.
yeah, it beat the super fast.
Yeah.
Dude, it trounced him, man. And the guy didn't have to do anything. There was he just revved it up, went, and he was gone. And it's low 10-second quarter mile.
Yeah.
Those cars are wild.
Yeah.
So Porsche, so anytime, like, there's another guy I follow, Adam LZ, that's on YouTube. And Adam LZ, he's got whole compound. I don't know. You should look it up. It's really cool. He does formula drifting and stuff like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all kinds of stuff, man. But he just bought a Porsche, and this is going to be his daily. It's a 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, daily.
And
dude,
my daily driver's a
with
911
a freaking roof rack box thing on top. I'm like, you're silly.
You could make it your daily though, man. Like they're not.
They're a nice car. Yeah, they could.
All-wheel drive, like it.
Yeah. Well, he. So if you don't know this, but Porsche actually there's a part you peel off and flip up to attach a roof rack on that car. Like it's made to have a roof rack on it. Weirdest thing. You're like a Porsche with a roof rack.
They're starting to go that way. You know who Colion Noir is?
Mm-hmm.
You'd like him.
Okay.
So he
text me that if you could.
Yeah.
The attorney, gun rights.
Yeah.
activist.
So he's an attorney, but he's like a big Second Amendment. Must have turned alarm on something that's weird. He's a big like Second Amendment guy.
There's 4 girls upstairs.
Yeah. But he has a 911 for like his daily driver.
Okay.
And that's just like it's his thing. He said the only thing he hates about one of them is because he has a couple apparently.
That's a first world problem. We call that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only problem is that like the one he has was stick shift. And he's like, dude, like in traffic,
Such
he's
a
like,
problem.
He's like, I can't. Like,
yeah, that's the one.
Because I think he was living in LA for a while, and it was like to do that.
No, you don't
drive in traffic. Like, no.
Once you drive a manual all your life, then you drive an automatic. You appreciate the automatic, but you never want to own. Like, I never want to own an automatic, like for my own car, because I'll sit there and drive, and it's like, I don't know if it's narcolepsy or what, but I'll sit there and drive, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is so boring. Like you got to start
space out.
Yeah, you're like, the sport mode. Oh yeah, let's do that. And then it's like you have to keep yourself busy. So with a manual, you're like, well, I guess I could drop down a gear and see what's happening, and just do stuff, you know. Yeah. But going back to Porsches, like the weirdest thing, like the GT3 RS, the GT2 RS, like those are 2 totally different cars.
Yeah.
Then the 911 Turbo S, completely different car. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that the 911 Turbo S has way more horsepower than the other 2, but the other 2 are track focused.
So I don't think it has more horsepower than the GT2. The new GT2 is like,
oh well, maybe not the 2022, but
no. I'm talking about even prior to that. Like I'm pretty sure that one has a little bit more horsepower.
640 on the 911 Turbo
Dude,
S.
I think you're knocking on like 720, 730 horse in that. Yeah, it's crazy. But I think your Turbo S.
He's like, look it up.
I think your Turbo S actually.
I'm going to need you to be very specific what I should put in this Google search because
just go to
I
Porsche.com.
am not keeping up.
I think your Turbo S might have beat it in a drag race, though.
Because it's all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the weird thing is it's all-wheel drive turbo Porsche. Because I was on their website the other day, just obviously, future shopping of things I'll never buy.
See, I don't do that. That's the exact conversation where like I love I love Porsches. Yeah. I love 911s. Like just the look of it. Like that's probably one reason why I love the CRX.
But you said something in one of your podcasts, the older versions, right? The ones with the big duck bill on them, right?
Yeah, I just like the mid 90s.
Yeah,
I just like to look at them.
Yeah,
dude, those are expensive.
Yeah,
well, I said,
they were cheap, and then
they came full circle.
Yeah.
They were expensive.
Yeah, going back to, I don't even look at. I don't know anything about. I just know I like the GT3s, like the look of them. I like the 911 Carreras, the turbos. Like I enjoy what they are, and I appreciate what they are, but I don't spend enough time to know. And I've been a fan of them since I was little, but I don't spend time because it's like. Why am I shopping for something I'm never going to buy?
Dude, because one day.
Then I'll shop for it then. But who knows? They might have one that has like wings and flies by that time.
You got to have a carrot in front of you, man. Yeah, exactly. You got to have a carrot in front of you.
The dealership is right by my one office up in Beechwood. So I drive by them all the time, and I'm like, oh, those are sweet.
Yeah, he'll send me pictures where like, I'm thinking about getting this. I'm like, or. Like the one time he was talking about
a new house,
well, he sent me this one. I was like, or you could get 2 of these, and I sent him these Ducati bikes. And I was like, and they're like $30,000 bikes, but it was like,
or you can get 4 Honda Civic Type R's.
Yeah, well, it was less than one of the one car he was looking at. Like, how cool would this be to own? I said, yeah, but or you could buy me one.
That's
of these
the weirdest thing,
one of these.
That's the weirdest thing.
The sad fact is, unless I made it a daily, I probably wouldn't even drive it. I do the same thing.
That you don't with the
wax on, with the wax off.
Yeah, I've got my little commuter car and my pickup truck, and that's.
Yeah.
No, you gotta have fun though. That's my problem, dude. Is like you gotta have like in life you gotta have fun. If you're just sitting there and you're like, well, I'm gonna drive point A to point B every day. For me, I guess I'm a guy. You gotta have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm beyond, not necessarily beyond that, like, but
My license plate's fun, dad, dude. Like
what's one of those?
That's awesome.
like literally,
He's one of those.
yeah. Well, but
Why am I not surprised?
I like it.
my first name's Chad. I don't know.
That's equivalent to Karen.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you listen to the podcast where we said that?
Oh, he did.
Chad
he
is
texted me
probably
literally
the
like the
Karen.
next day. He was
Probably.
like, "Screw you,
I was
man."
like, fuck you, Fred. Like, come on,
Like,
man.
Chad, why you gotta be making
No, but I
fun?
get like Mandy was telling me. I never really knew that was a thing. I thought it was something else. But I guess there's Kyle too, which is my brother's name, which is
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
I'm like,
Are
Really?
there, are there any Karens in your family?
nah, there's not actually, just all
okay.
boys. But anyways, I guess there's like this super Chad.
I've never
It's
heard
like
of a
Mega
super-
Chad or something like. I'll
Mega
send it.
Chad.
And this guy's got this jawline. He's just jacked bigger than you guys can even imagine. And it's just like they call it like he's like the final boss. You know what I'm saying? like the ultra Chad. And I'm like, I mean, that's a dreams and aspirations right there. But anyways.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's-
you gotta have fun, man.
You gotta have fun. But
Yeah.
I guess my problem was.
Oh, that was my baby on board sticker without the baby on board. Fun dad. If you miss the
Oh.
baby on board sticker, you can see the fun dad. Like
I gotcha.
try to make
I gotcha.
But it's
Yeah,
fun,
see,
too.
I lost that one because I lost my license with my CRX because I was
of course,
going a little fast.
peeling tires.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't peeling tires at that point. I was late for work, so I was passing people, and the statey came up over a hill and he clocked me at 89.
Hello. You're
Yeah, and I
like,
took off on a side road, and I was like doing.
Oh,
130. I was like
that's-
doing 130 on the side road, and then I realized quickly going from 130 to trying to stop and hit a turn real quick. My brakes weren't upgraded at that
Yeah.
point.
stock drum
Roasted
brakes.
'em. No, they were all disc.
Oh,
Um,
really? I thought the backs were drums.
Stock. They
Oh,
are.
I thought you didn't upgrade them.
But
You didn't upgrade
I
them
hadn't
enough.
upgraded the I
Yeah.
didn't upgrade the pads and all and the
Oh,
rotors
bro.
and everything.
Gotta get them ceramics.
Yeah, I that was the thing I did right after I got caught. Dude, I stopped and like smoke was just rolling out of my wheel wells because
Yeah.
my brake pads were just melting.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you got some car problems now, don't you?" And I'm like, "I guess." Yeah. Like, okay. But
Didn't even see you there, sir.
yeah, and he was like, "Well, I clocked you at 89 and a 55, and I knew you were going a whole lot faster than that down this road." And I was like,
Huh.
"Yeah." He's like, "Where are you heading?" I was like, "Oh, just out for a drive because I like wasn't going the direction I was
Yeah.
supposed to be going anymore."
You're like, I can't lie my way out of this one.
Yeah, well, he was like, "Why are you going so fast?" And I just like leaned over and like rubbed the dashboard. I was like, she just likes to go fast."
You did not.
I did. And he was holding my license. And I could see him like
He's like,
just like
he's
wanting
like,
to
"You
punch me in the
punk-ass
face
kid,"
because I
like-
was like 19. I was just some punk ass kid.
yeah, he's like, sweet answer, dude. Here's a ticket.
He goes, "I'll be back without your license." I was like,
Oh, he gets you for reckless on that?
yeah.
Oh, really?
It was over. It was because I was 24 over.
Dude, I got pulled over doing, gosh, we were on a road trip, and it's so embarrassing to see how fast I was going, but you just don't realize once you're on a road trip and like you're sitting there white knuckle driving.
Yeah, going down the highway for the last 300 miles, you
Right.
just end up, or you end up getting caught with a group of people. I've done that a couple times. Going
No,
out
you
to-
got to pull off. You just got to pull off, let them all like be stupid, and then you get a
Oh,
new group
man.
of people, and you're like, hey, I can be a jackass around these people now. But it's like, I was going, and there's this one car. I'm like, dude, just get over me. You know I'm gonna go faster. And finally, I get a spot to pass him on the right. I hate that. And I'm like, whatever, go around on the right, dude, doing like 93. And I look up, I'm like, oh, Stady pointing a freaking laser right at me. I was like, what's up, dude? And he just sees me. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go get this guy. And so I just go speed limit, pull over the right lane. I know I'm screwed. Just gonna
Right.
sit there and wait for it. Pulls up behind me, whoop, pull right over. He's like, hi there. I'm like, how's it going? He's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I said, well, probably. I was probably speeding. He's like, well, I got you at 93. And I said, oh, I'd pull myself over too. I'd be pulling me over too. I'm like, damn, dude. He's like, yeah. And he was like, well, I just need your license and registration. It's like, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to have you stop me. Like, I know it's kind of a pain for you guys these days because it was like before the pandemic started, and there were some things going on. And anyways, so he came back with some stickers, and he's like, well, hey, so I'm just going to write you for, I think it was like a 65 and a 55 or something. He's like, so because it is a construction zone. You know, it was 55 construction zone. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
you'd
I would
be
be screwed.
smoked.
Yeah. He's like, you know, but I'll be nice. You know, I'll write this actually a no points license, no point on your license, you know, ticket and just, you know, all that. He's like, oh, and here's some stickers for your kid in the back. I was like, dude, thanks so much, man. I was like, I really appreciate that. You know, he's like, I'm not trying to make your day crappy. He's like, I'm just trying to slow people down. I was like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that, dude.
There's some good ones out there.
Yeah.
You know, I've
been
I-
pulled over by both.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been pulled over by both too.
Yeah.
But I remember there was one time I wasn't speeding or anything. It was just late at night. I think I
Yeah.
was maybe
Thanks, Cassie.
like 16 or 17. I was young.
Mhm.
I would like just had my license for a little bit. And I was out at like I think it was 17. Because I was out at like it was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
And I get pulled over and it's a small town. I'm like this could be interesting.
Yeah.
And he comes up and you're just nice to the guy. You know?
Oh, yeah. You give
you know-
respect, you get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's always like dome light on, car off, hands on the wheel.
Keys on the freaking roof.
Yeah, what can I do for you, sir?
Yeah. Did you want a Big Mac? I got an extra one.
yeah. But like basically it was like I think I had like a license plate out or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like and like I'm sure he just used it as an excuse to pull me over.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's 1
Why not?
o'clock in the morning. There's no one around, and he sees this
What's this guy doing?
car that's a
Yeah.
busted ass car. Trying like, what's
Was this
guy
the
doing?
Civic?
No, this was no. I got that years ago. It was a
That
it was
thing
a
was, like, rusted,
Mercury
man.
Topaz.
What does this even look like?
It's just a old
I know.
school. They made the same thing as a Ford Tempo.
Oh, my ex-girlfriend had one.
Yeah, it's like a 2-door,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
weird thing with like a luggage rack on the back, like old
Yeah.
school, like busted ass
Yeah.
car. Yeah, I
Dude,
had
this
one of
thing
those.
sucked. You had one of those?
Yeah, well, I
I
was
think
young.
the speedometer only went to 90,
Oh, probably.
or maybe 70 or something crazy.
Yeah, it
We
was-
topped it out. And I was like, whoa, you buried the needle at 70.
Yeah, it was like a 2.3
What year
liter.
was it?
Oh, it was probably like a maybe like a 93 or something like that.
Mercury Topaz.
Mercury Topaz.
yeah,
Yeah,
my ex-girlfriend
it was
had
just
one.
it was just like a commuter car. It was more like a
Oh,
tour, like
yeah.
a Ford
That
Taurus.
thing
Yep.
sucks.
Mine was a 2-door that was like it was like the sport model. No, like that white one to the right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what mine looked like right there with the red interior. Oh,
that thing's sweet.
yeah.
Bringing it back. You're
Bringing
just
it
see. You're gonna
back.
get to a point where you're gonna be a millionaire. You're just
I'm
gonna buy all your
one of those.
Yeah.
one of my old cars.
You're gonna buy
So
all this
my-
old shit.
So, but yeah, I was really nice to the guy. He was nice to me, luckily, and just let me go.
Dude, that looks
Um,
like a car that can hold some drugs.
Exactly.
That's why he pulled you.
no,
over.
I totally, yeah, I know, I totally get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well, the very first car I ever had was a. So when I was 15, and I was like, well, I'm gonna want a car when I turned 16. So like, I'm gonna need to like, I want a car. So my mom was like, well, you better start working
Yeah.
more. I had a job.
Oh, I
She's
got
like,
a
you better
funny
start
story.
saving your money. So I saved my money up and I bought a 84.
Did you bring some for everybody?
Yeah, there's all types of stuff. Whatever you want, man.
That looks so fancy.
I'll go make you one.
Well, here in about, I don't know, 45 minutes. First
But
car.
I paid $300 for this 1984 Bronco 2.
Oh yeah,
Oh man,
Charlie from was it Rover River Radio had a Bronco.
it was
Now this is the big Q. This is the
big
V8 one.
cubes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it was a decent little thing. It got me around until the head gasket started going.
of course. Yeah.
Well, then
Fix
it
her
kind of
very
goes into
daily.
your discussion of like electronics and stuff. Where like,
Yeah.
there was no electronics on that thing. It was just all carbs and pistons and
Yeah.
gas and exhaust. That's
Just
all.
worked.
Just worked.
Yeah.
Until it
Didn't.
would get so hot that it would blow oil through the head
Mm-hmm.
and it would just overheat and shut down.
Yeah.
I did it to it like 3 times.
Yeah, it's called warping the head.
Yeah. Oh, I just destroyed. But then
Yeah.
like as soon as it cooled down for a while,
Yeah.
I drive it again. And then
Put some stop leak in there. You'd be all right.
No, like I remember at one point I had a dentist appointment. I was going to, it was during the week. I had school, but I had a dentist appointment before high school. So I went to the dentist appointment. On my way back to school, the thing blew up all over the place. I like pushed it across the road, had to walk all the way to school.
Crazy.
I love that color.
But I had to walk to school, and then I got a note like 3/4 of the way through the day that was like, "Hey, the Worcester Police Department has towed your car." And it's
Oh, really?
yeah.
Why?
because because I had to push it into somebody's driveway, and I don't know if it was sticking too far out into the if it was too close to the road.
Could be it was in somebody's driveway.
Yeah, maybe, but they had a U driveway. They could have got through. I even put a note on there like, "Hey, like,
Yeah,
my car broke down. Like, I had to come back and pick it up." Like,
people did that to me. I'd be like, please.
yeah, I don't know.
Sweet note, bro.
I let it sit there. I let it sit there till the next day.
Oh, okay.
I'd give him a day.
Yeah,
I would.
because you're a nice guy.
Maybe.
I'd be like, let's strip this thing down, send it out, get it magnified, see if there's any cracks, shave her off, and rebuild her.
Yeah, there's nothing there to save on that thing. But yeah, anyway, so I had to go get it out of like police impound or whatever for like, it cost me like $60, and then I towed it to the junkyard.
Yeah,
and that cost me like another like $30. And then
So basically-
they gave me like $50 for it. I'm like, fuck, I just paid $30 to get rid of this thing. Like, damn it.
Yeah, you just paid to get rid of your car.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So that was my first car experience.
So my first car was a 92 Integra. And
of course it was.
Yeah, of course. Honda, man. Well, I live where they make them, right? Hondas.
Yeah.
Marysville. So, so my dad, I worked at a Chinese food restaurant. My dad told me, he's like, hey, your first car, he's like, you got to have C's or better. He's like, and I'll pay for half your car. So whatever you save up, I'll pay the other half. I'm like,
that's not a bad deal.
Okay.
Solid deal.
My dad didn't know that
you saved up a bunch of money.
I saved up $6,000. I'm like,
gotcha, pops.
And I'm like,
awesome.
so 300 ZX twin turbo. Does that sound about right, Dad? And he's like, what? It's like $12,000. I'm like, yeah, it is. So could we go look at one? And he's like, how much money do you have? I said $6,000. He's like, for serving tables? I'm like,
that might cover insurance for 1 year on that.
yeah,
right.
He's like, that's the only job you have. I'm like, it's the only one I can tell you about. But that was it, man. I made a crap load of money and I had it all rolled up in like ones because I was a server.
Right.
Just shoved dude. It looked
or
like
were
I was
you a stripper?
No, well, my name is Chad. So, but the thing is like I had them in like this this little thing, and it was all rolled up in $100 bill, $1 and $100 rolls. So it looked like I was a drug dealer, but my dad knew better. He's like,
True.
He's like, that's crazy, $6,000. He's like, congrats. He's like, well, I got an idea for you. He's like, we'll go buy a $6,000 car. He's like, you can pay for it, and I'll help you buy some parts for it, some exhaust and stuff like that. So let's go look. So we found an Integra in Lancaster. It's a 92 Integra from a firefighter, and bought an exhaust and stuff like that. Just had fun with it and some wheels. I don't think my dad even gave me a dime, but he was just like, he's like, good for you, buddy. And I'm like,
The old
thanks,
man
Dad.
pulled the Kaiser Soze
Yeah.
on you.
The whole reversal. He's like, whoa. He's like, well, you got more money than I do. I'm like, well,
He's like, I don't know, $6,000.
yeah. It's like, start paying rent, dude. Like, but anyway, so that's what I did. That was my first car. And then
Nice.
I wrecked that a few times, got drunk. A Topaz actually hit the side of my door. My ex-girlfriend hit the side. I was being a dick, but she was being rude as well. And she hit the side of my door. And then that happened. Then I got drunk, backed into a mailbox, chipped off the wing. Something else happened. It was crazy. So
It's no good. Those first cars, they always get a beating.
yeah, the first car you get, it's always going to go into the ditch or something, or hit a tree. So never buy a really good first car. That's my opinion.
I mean, I agree with the never buy a very nice first car.
No,
but
these parents that give out these, like, oh, here's a brand new Civic. You're like, oh, that thing's getting puked in for one. Like, two, that might get wrecked.
more than likely.
Yeah.
I don't think I've wrecked my first car. I don't know if the only car I ever wrecked was the only one I never wanted to wreck. Or that I was more upset that it
was
that I wrecked. My CRX.
Oh.
I wrecked it and totaled it.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. But it was kind of one of those things, like I was just heading to work. I worked had to be at work at 6 a.m. and I had like a 40-minute drive, so I had to leave early.
Mm-hmm.
And, just wasn't paying attention and ended up going around this turn in this city and caught the curb.
Oh, really?
When I caught the curb, it like, because I had low profile tires on it, it popped the tire.
Of course.
And it kind of like, you get in that like weird, like, it just kind of drags you
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. It's like snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then it dragged me right into a light pole.
Oh, really?
Caught the tire square in the center of the tire and pushed it all the way up into the passenger floorboard and just twisted the frame. Yeah, I was going like 35 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, but it was just the way I hit the light pole just perfect. Where it just, I mean, those cars are teeny tiny.
If you had the lane keep assist, you'd have been all right.
Yeah, it's
It
true.
kept you in the lane.
It would have, but
Just
it
saying.
didn't.
I don't know.
That's how it goes.
What are we talking about cars for?
Well, on that note,
What's up, man?
hate to change the subject.
Yeah.
Tony, what is that thing hanging from your mic there?
Oh yeah, we never
What
got
is
to the
that?
lure story.
Well, it's a lure. One of
Lure.
my patients gave me this
Lure. You gotta let it go. Lure.
for bass. So he made this. I don't know. I thought it was super cool. He said it takes about an hour to make. Pass it over if you don't mind.
That's
Just,
it?
Made
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah.
1
Yeah,
hour.
He said it took
Does he
him an
make
I'm
hour.
assuming he got like a
I don't
like
know.
a stock thing and
Yeah,
then like painted it. Or
yeah. There's,
dipped
it.
there's some
Oh.
adhesive. He laid like a mesh on it to replicate scales. I thought it was sweet.
it's super
Anytime
cool.
somebody gives me something that's like homemade that actually like
Yeah.
took some of their time, that's like one of the greatest gifts I can ever get because you literally just gave me your time right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
I had a buddy, he made, I think he fly fishes, and so he made some fly fishing stuff. And I saw, it was like one of those videos that's like sped up or whatever. He made one of those. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of time to do that. Just go to Walmart and buy something.
yeah, well, Josh Snyder, the guy we talked about passions with, he does fly fishing. He like makes his own
Oh, okay, cool.
lures or
Lures.
flies or whatever. I don't know technically what they are, but yeah, sometimes you got to master things, and
Then you can bait it.
turn out to be a masturbator.
Yeah.
I would
Absolutely.
say if you're a 3/4
a 3/4
Three-quarter ass.
masturbator.
Yeah.
2/4 ass
if you're a
guy.
3/4, yeah. Josh he's 100%.
No, he's 100%.
So he's like Fred, but he goes even.
he goes the
further.
extra 25%.
And that's with music. That's like motocross,
Oh.
like computers.
Yeah, he
all
does
that
their
stuff. Fishing.
He did like him and his dad run an advertising company, and that's like they do like the Rogue Tree Solutions commercials and stuff like, and a bunch of other different commercials, but like where it's phenomenal work, but it's like a production piece where it was like, oh, like man, this is. But yeah, I think he's one of those people that goes 100%. I guess that's what I mean when I see people like that. When you're talking about like mastering something, I see people like that and go, I'm not 100%er, and I'm okay saying that. I do good. I am good at a lot of things, but I'm not expert or like master like some of those people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'd never expect to be like an Eric Clapton on
No.
guitar. You know what I mean?
But
like,
there's a bunch of guitarists that are good too.
there's
You know what I'm saying?
phenomenal guitarists, but like, and I'm okay with admitting, I guess myself, that I'm not in that category.
So during the podcast, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you guys do when you have to pee?
We go, hey, do you need to pee?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we do.
just go, bro.
Let's take a break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll
You
pee.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
We have
Okay.
stadium pals actually.
I text you. I was like, oh, I gotta pee, Fred.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm like you're at 11, and this requires a 3.
Yeah.
That's required.
You know what I'm saying?
Where did you end up going?
I don't know, just some local place.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. It just makes sure that number one, they keep the levels therapeutic. That's one good way that you control estradiol or E2, the main form of estrogen, and
Oh, yeah.
dihydrotestosterone. And then so typically it's far easier to be proactive than it is reactive about estrogen.
Because estrogen starts coming up when you start adding
does.
testosterone. Because your body's like, well, I don't need all this.
Yep.
It's like, here's some estrogen.
So you're going to get some conversion, which
Yeah.
is not a bad thing. You want a certain amount of estrogen. Too
I'll try
low, it's
this.
going to affect libido. You need a certain amount for your brain, your heart, your nerves. Conversely,
Spicy.
ginger and bourbon.
Get you. Oh, is ginger in there?
Yeah, ginger beer.
Oh, dude, right
Ginger
on.
beer.
Yeah, that'll help out
It's
the
good for your
digestion.
Yeah. Conversely, though, you don't want that estrogen too high. So that's when
Yeah.
you get water retention, emotional ability, and it fuels breast tissue. Nobody wants man boobs.
Yeah.
Gynecomastia,
I
not a good
know.
thing. So usually,
Unless you do want that, then
then,
You know,
then, by,
it's-
then by all
it's
means.
a thing. 2021.
yeah, by all means.
All
Jeez.
boobs matter. You know what I'm saying?
But no, something to control estrogen typically. Usually, a lot of clinics will utilize something called an aromatase inhibitor. Anastrozole is the one that they typically
Yeah.
use for a low dose. And then you need something to basically make sure that your axis doesn't shut down. Just because,
Right. You don't want to stop your own natural stuff. Yeah.
the pituitary and the Leydig cells in the testes are sending signals back and forth. Do we have enough test? Do we not have enough test? And you're always going to have enough test
Right.
when you're, doing exogenous testosterone. So either clomiphene, HCG, or kisspeptin, to basically keep those FSH and LH levels rocking and rolling.
That's way over my pay grade.
If you can't tell, Tony knows his hormones.
I don't.
That's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
No,
But
I just-
the interesting thing too is like it's a yin and yang relationship, right? I've always seen those. You've got the bodybuilders like Greene or whatever like that. they're not natural.
No,
Just saying.
Absolutely
No.
not.
But Kai Greene's weird, man. Like he's weird. Point blank, just period.
His
Stop.
personality.
He's weird.
He's an individual.
But anyways, he's kind of weird. He dressed up like with a wig and stuff like that. It's almost like is your estrogen trying to ramp up so high because you've got so much testosterone, you're actually becoming feminine.
No, I don't think that's Kai Greene's problem.
You don't think so?
No, not at all. No, I think Kai Greene's just weird.
You think he's just weird? You don't think his estrogen's
No.
going through the roof?
No, absolutely not. I think those guys. You look at like people like Phil Heath, Kai Greene.
Well, Phil Heath isn't putting wigs on though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay,
That's what I'm saying. You look at all of those big bodybuilders, Jay Cutler. Like,
So you're saying Kai Greene's like an outlier?
I think Kai Greene is just that's his personality.
He's just different. Yeah.
He's just different.
I don't
think-
know. I don't know. Like I don't know him. I don't know his personality.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't know
never-
anything about.
I
the
just
wig
saw
or
him on
anything like that.
Instagram randomly. Just he's got a wig on and like fake boobs, and it's like or like a bra on. I'm like, dude, what are
As
you
a joke
doing?
or like he
No,
legit?
so he does a lot of. I've seen he
He
does.
does
a lot
dress
of, like,
up stuff.
Yeah, but he does a lot of like. So I think this is the best kind of category from what I've seen. I don't dive too far into Kai Greene, but
Alright.
I've seen enough of his stuff where he's kind of like on the performance art.
Yeah,
spectrum
him and
of things,
DLB
too.
did
like
that.
because he'll throw like a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, him
And,
and
like-
Daniel Bailey did that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like he'll throw like
Yeah.
a weird mask on and
he'll
like
start like doing this
in
like
his
weird
yeah,
thing,
in his like in his
popping a
show
lock or
bikini
something.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
he'll go out in the middle of the street and do like a street
performance
performance.
art.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think he's just in that spectrum of artistic and just kind of does his own thing. I had because those guys that are pro bodybuilders, like there is so much that goes into their what's that? Yeah,
I want to see if I try a little bit of your Woodinville pork.
oh
flesh.
yeah, absolutely. That's phenomenal. But I think they have people that are constantly checking their levels.
Yeah,
They're
of
doing
course.
blood work. They're
Yeah.
making sure everything is lined up.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't.
Oh,
yes.
Well, that's
Oh,
that,
I've never seen him.
Yeah, dude, he's got a wig on, man. He's like, look,
yeah, but you see,
That's
we look at like the
hilarious.
other one. So he's got the also like the giant like
he's got the fro,
the funny
on,
fro on
yeah.
with the vest.
But like literally, he's
you
got
know,
a
like-
brawl. Like if you look below that big picture, like in the center, he's got a brawl on. Like, what are you doing, man?
I just super appreciate him for
oh, yeah.
being himself, for not
Yeah, I think
like
he's
having to fit inside a box.
No, I think that's
I
just
mean,
who he is. I
says
think
the
he's
guy
just,
with pink shorts on over here.
right.
So.
And I think he's just a goofy dude.
I feel like if they ever made like a White Girls 2 movie,
Yeah.
he would be a shoe in for.
Right, because then you look at him in the other photo where he's got like a giant like fro wig on and he has like a skull
guess.
mask. You know, I think he just likes.
He's got to be. I guess he got to be a little crazy to start injecting that much test
Well,
and
I don't-
like other stuff. to
Oh
be-
yeah, and I don't even think that's not it. Only I think that's just he's just a character. You know, he's just a character. If you've ever seen like, even when you see him, what was it? Him and there was one year I think it was him and Phil Heath where Kai Greene took second and Phil Heath took first, and Kai Greene was pissed. But like they were both like flexing on each other, like literally like
Yeah.
bumping into each other purposefully. It was like
Oh, I
it
think
was
I've
like
seen
it
it,
was
yeah.
like a UFC like weight like
Yeah, the
Weigh
weigh in. Yeah, you're
where
like,
they were like just like nose to nose and like intentionally, but like trying to make it not look intentional, like
you
hitting
won't
each
kiss
other.
me.
Like yes, like I think Kai Greene's just a character.
Okay.
You know, because I think those guys, I think not all professional athletes, but
Well, anybody that's not driving a regular Honda Civic is a little bit eccentric, right? You know what I'm saying? Like to bring it back to Honda.
we all have
like,
our
like, but the thing is like Kai Greene and all them, like he went into it. He's like, I'm not just going to be a mediocre bodybuilder. I'm going to be the best, or at least what he's trying to be
Yeah.
the best, right? He's that whole ass, like that, not
Yeah.
3/4. Like he's like, well, I'm going to be like 110. Try that. Maybe that's an equation. Like try to be the absolute best I can.
he's pushing. He's one of those people that push.
Yeah.
limits,
So there was a thing I
boundaries.
saw about him. He was working out, and he would work out in his crappy ass apartment with every single burner on, right? And the heat cranked to put his body into this stressful situation to try to create like a hormonal response of like fight or flight in order to make sure that his body was as ready to build muscle as it could be. Because he thought that, like, if you look at people in jail, like they're always jacked, right? What was
Well, it's because he ain't got nothing else. to do.
Gosh, what was the guy that not Kimbo Slice, but what was the other guy that got out of jail? Like he was in jail, got out, was jacked, and
Was he a UFC fighter? Or?
he's got like a song called like Big Weights or something like
Oh, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
that. Big
Oh, he used to talk about Top Ramen,
45.
Top Ramen, and
Yeah,
and,
Top Ramen. Yeah,
Top Ramen, and
Yeah. Slap
and
City. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
He's Slap City.
because he did I think he did a video with. Did he do a video with the Bro Science guy? I think
don't
at one
know.
point.
I don't
no,
know.
he did a video with CT Fletcher, I think, at one point.
Probably,
too.
yeah.
Oh, who is that guy? I know exactly who you're talking about. This is a tough one.
Yeah. Just type in
Did-
Slap City.
Cali Muscle?
Yes!
Cali Muscle.
Collie Muscle, dude.
Yeah, do you know who that guy is,
I
Tony?
think I
Dude,
do.
he was.
I never saw the video.
So he started. I watched his like documentary. He started off basically. He was in
Just-
jail. Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
But like
Massive man.
they're like that big of a dude in jail for that long. Like he's sneaking in freaking muscle. But he big weights.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the song, man.
I never heard the song, but I know I saw some videos when he like, started coming
Afterwards,
out.
that's a good lifting song.
I think he was doing. I feel like he was doing something with Dom Mazzetti, the
That dude's
bro
pretty
science
funny.
guy. He's hilarious.
Oh,
Where he
okay.
was like,
Funny.
he was doing like tricep curls with Dom like hanging from a towel.
I'm sure.
And he
Oh
was
yeah,
like-
because you got like the bro curls like
Yeah,
with the
like
towel.
the
Yeah,
towel, yeah, 'cause
that
it
actually
was like prison
works,
curls.
Dude. Yeah, prison curls. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that dude. So I watched the documentary. Like he just got out of jail. They're like, "What did you eat in jail?" Like, Bill, all that. He's like, ramen noodles,
Top ramen,
top
Yeah, he
ramen,
kept
and some
saying
other
top
shit.
ramen
And
tuna.
it's like, yeah, and tuna. And they're
Yeah.
like, "That's it." They're like, "So you snuck in steroids?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "But not that much." You know, but he's still that huge. And so the thought process going back to Kai Greene was like, your body's in jail. Your body is in that. You're around all those alpha men that are trying to get jacked, right? And so your body kind of says, well, I need to get jacked. Yeah, you need to step it up.
I wonder if there's any science to that.
I guess because like if you're around a whole bunch of like beta males, like you don't have to worry about like beating them up. But if you're around a whole bunch of alpha, you kind of get in that like pumped up, jacked up mode. And your body's like, well, time to build muscle because you need to be bigger than that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, think back to like caveman stuff.
I think there is something to.
There's got to be. Like rucking. We were just talking about rucking earlier. Like, your body is designed to ruck, basically, right? So, wear out the animal, hike 20 miles out, wear the animal out, kill the animal, put the animal on your back, hike 20 miles back, and your body has to be a specific size of muscle makeup for that. So, it's like, you know, you do that to your body's going to be like, all right, well, here's some muscle. There you go.
Yeah, well, I was
just a thought
like,
process.
No,
I don't have any science to back that up, but I'm just thinking, you know.
Right. No, I like the thought experiment at least. I think there is something to
Gotta be.
I think there has been some studies done where the testosterone levels in different like with the people you're around, just like women in their menstrual cycles,
periods syncing up,
like syncing up.
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
real.
been that's at least been a thing that's talked about. I don't know, Tony. Do you know any?
Yeah, is there any fact to this, or we just be?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's,
so you know what I mean?
it's where,
So
like if you put
mansplaining.
them in a house, like they all sync up and they start having their periods at the same time.
Is this
so.
like scientifically
Yeah.
proven?
Yep.
Okay, all right, cool. Then we
So
can talk about it.
Yeah, no, I think there. So to say that, you know, if you're around a bunch of dudes with high testosterone and doing the thing, like it would only make sense that your body recognizes that and goes.
It triggers it, man. It turns it on.
Right.
Like
I can see
it
that.
it doesn't turn.
I don't know
it
if
doesn't
there's any
turn,
science behind it.
It doesn't
but
turn
I
you
can see how
on, but it
could,
turns it on.
Yeah,
It turns on those receptors and
maybe it
things like
does.
that.
I
Yeah,
don't
it could
know.
be. You know,
Whatever.
got to have a hard on with some tests. You know,
Yeah, that's true. You need the test for
you
that.
need the test for that. Yeah, Viagra.
No, that's not test.
I know. Anyway, yeah, it's just Anyways.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I think so. Back to Kai Greene. I think that's just who he is. I think he's just a goofball. I think he likes performing.
Yeah.
Because all those high performance athletes, it was funny. I remember I dabbled in CrossFit for a while, and it's neat to like go to some of those competitions, like because there are some just monsters of people there, like to see what they can do, like their physical capabilities. Because I've done a CrossFit competition before.
Yeah. It's like
It
not
was
only
like
can,
the quickest way I've been embarrassed in the max amount in one day.
not only can they lift a bunch, but they can do it really fast.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
It's
again.
not like they have that perfect balance of like cardio and strength and all these things. Or not maybe not perfect, whatever your idea of perfect is.
I always make fun of them, like, oh, sweet pull up, bro. Like, what's this like?
Yeah, that's a little.
But the thing is like,
a little hokey.
I actually looked into that, like, but you're actually when you do the action, because I was going to do the Murph thing. When you're actually doing that, you're actually using different muscle group. You're not using your lats as much as like your back to pull you up.
Oh yeah, well it's momentum.
The kipping pull-ups?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
But
Yeah.
it's momentum and stuff too.
It is momentum, but it's a different muscle group.
Yeah, that and I mean they say volume. So they say that you do so many more, so it actually somehow comes out ahead of if you were doing strict pull-ups.
Yeah, and you're doing
That's their argument.
you've got like you're doing like your ab, your core and stuff while you're doing that.
Yeah,
so it's like
it's completely different.
it works out, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely it works out and it's definitely a workout.
It's fun to make,
but
fun
it's
of.
one. Yeah, it's one of those things.
CrossFit
Yeah,
Cross
sweet,
fuck off.
yeah, sweet CrossFit pull up, bro.
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing. Like it's one of those things like we should call it something different because it's not the same thing.
Strong,
Those are two different things. You know what I mean? So I think that's but
like
it
a
was,
kipping pull up,
right? Yeah, kipping. I don't know.
whatever it is. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Alright.
kipping pull up.
Yeah, but they just say pull ups.
Fake
Well, though it's
pull-up.
not technically a pull up because I can only do like 8 pull ups, but
Oh, same here.
kipping like I can do.
I feel like both of you guys can do more than 8 straight
Well,
pull-ups.
we had a push up competition.
I might be able to get 10. I'm getting better. I'm
you
just
got 10. I got
I
8
just
at
got
the
so
gym
heavy.
the other day.
I'm just too heavy. I don't do pull ups enough.
I
I eat too much Taco
I
Bell.
feel like both you guys can do more than 8 to 10.
Maybe.
I mean, if it was like we had a pull up bar, like we did a push up competition last time I was here. I won.
I was way out of shape then.
That was fine. I was
That's
actively
fine.
trying to do like push ups and stuff. I was doing over 100 a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey Fred, you want to do push ups? And you're like,
He just knew. He's like, this is the moment. This
I was
is
like,
my
this is
moment.
it. I was like, I've got the beard, but I don't have the muscles. I was like, I'm gonna be able to get him on this one.
I was skinny fat then too.
That's
Because I
alright.
could totally beat you now, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
We could rematch.
Yeah,
Just saying.
we could do a rematch.
Not
later.
right now.
No, not right now.
Maybe we
I don't want
should.
to. I don't want to start sweating.
Next break.
I'll announce.
All right.
Ladies and
In
gentlemen.
the right corner, we've got Fred Wynn.
Yeah.
Used to have a shitty Civic and a swapped
Yeah.
CRX.
But what I was going to say about the CrossFit people, it
Go
was
ahead.
funny tying it into the Kind Gree thing.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. That's
Go ahead.
Finally,
Thanks.
someone that's more distracted than I am. On a
Dude,
tip.
Literally, used to take ADD meds. Come on,
It was funny because I remember at one point
one of
where
the hard stuff.
somebody said something about
Probably need to stir it.
like or, like you
I did, didn't I? Didn't you watch me do it?
Stir it again.
Stir it again.
Stir it again.
Alcohol
but it-
floated to the top.
Could.
Yeah,
Could.
it could for
All right,
sure.
go ahead.
Um,
Sorry, dude.
but
Go
like
ahead.
like the CrossFit community, there's a lot of people out there like that people like think that the CrossFit like athletes, the professional, like the ones that are going to the games, like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
aren't doing performance enhancing drugs.
Oh yeah, that's
And it's
bullshit.
like
They are.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah,
Like
come on.
stop!
You
Like
can't
stop
just do that
it.
naturally.
Yeah, just stop it.
Yeah,
Like,
hey, I'm doing 3 workouts a day, but I'm not taking anything.
But you
yeah,
know what, man?
just
Like,
stop it.
but here's the
Like,
thing. Like, let's get so again going back to like the Great Awakening map, right? Let's think outside the box, right? You
that
ready?
is outside the.
It's way
box.
out. That's
creating.
that's outside the universe, right?
Yeah, that's creating a new box.
But yeah, it's a new box. But think about it this way: like we were just talking about rucking, right? So rucking, you're getting into that mode of you're activating certain genes and stuff in your body that says, "Hey, it's time to build muscle because you need it because you're about ready to go hike a freaking elk back that you just killed."
right.
Or Kai Greene, right? I'm gonna turn on all the heat in my house, turn on the stove, make myself really like
Make my body
stressful.
wonder what the hell's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
going on.
Or be in prison, right? With the other guy, and you're activating those things in your body that says, "Hey, dude, time to buck up."
Yeah, survival techniques.
Survival time. And like your body goes, "All right, here's some muscle," because other times we're sitting there like this
Right.
for 8 hours a day. We're sitting there
Staring at a
typing,
screen.
staring at a screen. I do that. I've got to get up and do something. But if I did that all day long, of course I'd be skinny. My hair would start falling out. I don't need hair because I'm inside. No UV light, right? Your body kind of evolves naturally. But if you tell your body like, "Hey, time to get moving, dude," you're going to go get an elk, right? Rucking. You're going to tell your body it's time to start building muscle. Who knows what's possible without drugs, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just
No,
it
I
couldn't
would-
just be testosterone. It's like growth hormone. There's other things.
Yeah.
You listed off a whole alphabet soup of stuff, right? You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
No, I think there is something to that. I think there is something to
Something to think
push
about.
it, pushing yourself beyond your limits. Because like you
Mm-hmm.
look at somebody like
That's how you build muscle beyond the limit.
yeah, you break yourself down, but
Right.
there's people out there that just do incredible things, and I think it's really good for people to push yourself beyond limits that
Yeah.
you never thought capable. You mentioned the Murph thing, and we
Yeah.
did a.
You did that, didn't you?
Well, it was like a ruck Murph.
Oh, okay.
So instead of what is it? A regular Murph is run a mile,
Mm.
and then it's what?
It's like 100 pull-ups.
200 push-ups, 300 squats.
Yeah, so 100 pull-ups,
Consecutively.
Yeah.
200 push-ups, and 300 squats.
And then another
And
mile.
then another
And then
mile.
running,
Yeah.
then you run
Yeah.
a mile. So the
Yeah.
ruck Murph we rucked a mile,
Okay.
and then we did the 300 squats, 200 push-ups, and we used sandbags to do rows
Oh, I
instead
could
of
do that. Yeah.
pull-ups, and
Yeah.
then we rucked another.
And we
mile.
wore rucks the whole time. Like,
Yeah,
so
and
we
we
had
wore
the
rucks the
weight
whole
on our
time.
backs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like, but it was one of those things where I'd never done that.
Mhm.
And Dustin, who's been on the podcast before, who runs kind of the local ruck
Mhm.
club, he kind of shows up and he has like different sandbags, and him and Austin, the two people that kind of run the club, have different size sandbags. And she had one of her clients and her husband that they'd never done that quite thing before. So they were here, and I was like, and they have, I think they had like 260s, an 80 and a 120 pound sandbag.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I'm like, looking, I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, well,
Who's getting what?
yeah, we can't give like,
Cassie's got the 120.
Yeah, well, she
I have a 40. I
she
did
has a
that.
40. She has her own 40, and I'm thinking, all right, well, I have my rock that has 40 pounds in it or whatever it was, and I'm looking at the numbers, and it basically came down to like me and Dustin having the 80 or the 120, and I'm like, no, well, that's what he was like. He's like, it doesn't matter to me. I'll take whatever, and I'm thinking like,
Do I want to be a bitch?
yeah, exactly. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
that's fine. You
Give
know
it
what?
to
I'll
me.
take the 120. He's like, really? And I'm like, yep, doing it.
Yeah, that's what Fred does.
Oh,
Terrible, bro.
Terrible
I
mistake.
rocked with a 120.
Yeah.
Terrible mistake.
Well, you had
And it was-
120 on your back.
Oh, yeah.
and 40 pounds in my back.
That's a
on the
shitload of
sack.
weight,
It
dude.
was terrible. Like I took it and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I rucked with it.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rows weren't bad. Like to
course
me,
not.
120 pound rows, that's nothing.
Yeah. It's all big and stuff over there.
Yeah, but I did not carry it the second mile. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like,
Oh, really?
It is not worth it. Like, not
See, if it
because technically you don't have to carry the sandbag.
Oh, okay.
That was like an additional quote unquote thing. And I
Bragging
was like, I'm
rights.
not doing it because like everything, like it's so weird. Like you think like because the weight wasn't like the carrying it on my legs.
Yeah.
That wasn't the issue, but like when you
You're
carry a
necking it.
sandbag
Yeah.
Yeah,
for that
it
long,
changes the whole.
Well,
yeah.
it does
neck,
this
your
weird
arms.
thing where like
Yeah.
it compresses like your spine and your
Yep.
shoulders in a weird way where it's just it's a
So-
whole different game.
So I brought my baby carrier. So the 2-year-old. So when we first had her, I was like, all right, that's cool. And then we got into hiking and camping, and I was like, well, who makes a kid? Is that a thing? So then we found a kid carrier. Osprey makes it. It's awesome, dude. And we put diapers. I actually packed food in there. We did a whole lunch and dinner and everything like that. And we did a whole day hike. It was awesome. But anyway, so with the kid and all of our gear back there, it's 50 pounds or over 50 pounds. I weighed myself on the scale when I got home. I was like, oh, dude. So I've been like hiking with 50 pounds on my back. It
it's a whole different ballgame.
It is, but
But
the thing is like you've got the waist. The waist is where you want
Yeah.
the most weight at,
Yeah.
right? And then the secondary is the straps, and the third is the front part, right? But you want all the weight on the waist. So it's like when you have it set up the right way, you don't even notice it. You know.
Is this baby facing out or baby on the back?
So it's on the back,
Okay.
but she's facing forward with you. I'll show. It's in my car. I'll show you
Okay,
guys.
I was gonna say I've got. It looks like a
like-
full battle rattle vest that I have.
Oh, okay.
It's like literally with the mole
But
like
instead of a
Velcro.
Yeah.
Well,
instead of 30 round mags, it's
Yeah.
baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's got a zone
well,
9 mil. It's like, hey, if the shit gets real, like grab that and
No,
go.
actually, dude, there's a nice pocket where you can fit the FN back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and with the baby in the front.
Baby's
so.
like, "Where?" You're like, hit it, girl.
pass me another mag.
Yeah.
He's like, "Arr."
Time to step it up,
Like,
baby.
that's the binky. Give me the 30 round.
Your kid would too, man.
Oh, they would.
Stitch
Mine
would
are
just.
wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're wild. Yeah.
But no, this is an Osprey pack, and so it's actually Osprey makes really good backpacking
Yeah.
packs, and so we've got this thing. We went to West Virginia, did a whole bunch of hiking, and Mandy actually hiked 100 miles pregnant last year. She was pregnant. I was carrying the kid, obviously, but like doing over 100 miles, right? It was way over 100, but 100 pregnant. I was like, dude, this rucking
What kind of
thing,
time frame are we talking here? Because that's a lot.
dude, I don't know. It was like 6 months, 7 months, something like
okay.
that. We were doing like 10, 20, 30 miles a weekend, like
That's awesome.
just going hard because like we got into that and like we did 5 miles the other day or yesterday. I just had a blast. We did 5 miles. I had the kiddo in the back, and we were at Mohican.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so Mohican, they got a new suspension bridge in, which is really cool. But there's a section that you take after the suspension bridge on the left, and it goes and it's like do 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 do, and then it goes whoop straight up. No joke. And I'll show you the picture. There's actually a ladder you have to climb because it's a sheer face.
right.
And so we had a newborn basically, and the 2-year-old, and I'm like, well, guess we're doing it, you know. But it's
Here now.
it's a lot of fun, man. And so it makes you think about like the rucking and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it is. It's something different, you know.
but what I was trying to say is like 120 pounds on your back versus like 120 pounds secured, totally different.
oh yeah,
So like I could completely imagine like dropping that thing and be like, nope. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, it's one of those things where, you know, I guess it kind of ties back into me like being like I'm a 75%er. Like it's not like I couldn't do it.
0.75%.
Yeah, it's not like I couldn't do it. It was just one of those things where I'm like, I have nothing to prove
I'm
here.
good here.
Like I don't need to do this. Like I don't need to prove myself. Like I'm good. If somebody else wants to do it, be my guest. But I'm, but rucking is one of those things where I hate cardio. Like going out there with a bunch of people and carrying, heavy weight and around a backpack. Because we go to a local park, which is in this local valley. Like there's not a bunch of hills around here.
Yeah.
But it's a valley that cuts through close to here. So it's up and down, up and down.
Okay.
Like, basically the park where you park the cars, where you start, it's sitting like on top, and you drop down into the valley.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then the whole thing is through the valley, and then you always have to come back up at some point. So like when you come back out of it, it's always like the Dusty always picks like the worst spot to come up out of because it's like the steepest and hardest. But like, you get done, it's like, oh, like
that's a sense of accomplishment.
And it's practical.
Yeah.
Like what if shit. If
Shit
you were to
hit the
go
fan.
crazy, shit hit the fan, what's the best thing you could be good at doing?
Refer to the poster.
Yeah.
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 If any of these things happen here, okay.
Yeah, then
We're
it's
good.
I need to be able to carry a lot of weight for long distances and be able to survive.
You guys have talked about that on your podcast.
Yeah.
You said like, what's the percentage of people that would actually be able to survive if shit hit the fan? And
What do you
you're
think
like,
it is? What's your
dude, less than 5%. Think of how many. Well, I guess the thing is like,
are you talking nationally or internationally?
Nationally, like U.S. And the thing is like because the U.S. is so reliant on the grocery stores. Like think back to when beginning of the pandemic when all the meat was gone. Right?
Yeah.
There's no meat on the shelves. Zero. My wife didn't have the pleasure of seeing that. I went in and I saw people freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, we had meat because I was about a month, or no, I would say about 2 weeks ahead of all that stuff. So it's like the meat went out 2 weeks before that. I was like, I should probably get some more meat. So I got meat, got that stacked in there good. And before the toilet paper went out, I was like, I'm going to buy about a roll or like a thing or two of toilet paper. It'll be all right. Paper towels too. Then that all happened. I was like, all right. Because you look at China and you're like, that's coming here next.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Think about that. And so I was ahead of it. So we had like vegetables and fruits frozen and stuff too. Because it was like, for me, it was like there's going to be haves and have-nots. And I'm not going to hoard stuff, but I'm not going to be ill prepared.
True.
So it's like when that happened, I was like, there's people going to the grocery store right now that are like, I need meat for my family. And they're going, there is none.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
So do you want to sit there and be reliant on the government to provide you meat down the road? Or do you want to sit there and be like,
the only thing worse than government cheese gotta be government meat.
Yeah. Or yeah. So then you get to that point and you're like, for me, I've lived in a, I guess like a developed, like, not country place.
True.
It's kind of like border country stuff,
It's
but
suburban. It's
suburban,
yeah.
But it's like, there's people that hunt, but like for me, I don't hunt. I don't know the first thing about that, but I'm going to figure it out now. I'm going to figure out how to bow hunt because bullets can, go gone. Look at The Walking Dead. That's our basically like that's
the finite amount of bullets.
Right. That's our
use.
That's the blueprint.
That's the blueprint. Yeah, you look at the Walking Dead. You're like, well, here's basically what could happen. So it's like
the extreme.
So Daryl, he's got it figured out. He's got the bow. He can still go and kill a deer. The guy that has a gun, what are you gonna do? Throw that at a deer? It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So thinking back to that, I'm like, you have to get to a point to where you know how to have those skills. And the people that are willing to get those skills or that currently have it, less than 5%, dude. At least where I'm at. It's there's not a lot of people that really can sit there and be like, I'm going to grow vegetables. Because that's a whole nother thing too, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to eat meat all day long. You have to grow vegetables, know how to grow vegetables, find the seeds, have the seeds, know what to eat, what's not poisonous, what is, have the meat, have shelter, be able to make your own shelter, right? Because what if somebody wants to come and get your shit, right? You're just sitting there and you're like, well, here's my house. I'm going to roll over and there you go. I've got a gun, but maybe they've got more guns than me.
They're not going to have more guns, and they're not taking my house.
Well, right, but the thing is like,
hammer on if you want to try.
But think about it this way, like Walking Dead, right? So go back to that.
Yeah,
you get a big like Terminus style group of people. Dude, you're outnumbered, man. You may think you have a shitload of guns, you don't. You never know.
No, I have a shitload of ammo and I can shoot.
Okay, so how much ammo are you going to be able to reload, right? There's always going to be like, you have to think about like that one thing.
There's
I
going
do.
to
be something.
And that's why we've talked about like if shit hits the fan, who's the collective group of people that we're calling?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. You have to
can
find a
grow,
group.
that can hunt, and that understand firearms, and that are very proficient with them, and then have other skills, medical skills, engineering skills, all
Terminus.
those things. So,
Terminus, basically.
I was just joking about
You
the.
gonna say bow staff
Right, but-
Nunchuck skills.
Yeah,
I was waiting for it.
Bow
But no, but
staff
think about it this
skills.
way: like if this collapses over here
Yeah.
and this is what you're reliant
Yeah.
on, then you have to build something similar to that because that's what is the structure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like you have to find a doctor, you have to find a person that's good at woodworking,
Mm-hmm.
you got to find all these things, and the thing is like I may be good at some things, but Fred's really good at some other things. Like he can make a knife, I can't make a knife, but I guess what? I can do something he can't.
I'd be a terrible doctor though.
Right.
So-
Or but he's a good.
I got that covered.
Yeah, but you see,
So
what I'm
you're
saying,
coming
like,
up, you're coming up.
So
If
you
shit
want me
hits
to
the
cut it
fans,
off?
what you're
You
saying?
just cut your leg off? Then?
yeah, we good here? Like this looks. I mean, I could eat that part, I guess, since we're low on meat.
You'll rob all the Walmarts for all the insulin
The
for me,
Walmarts.
babe.
Yeah,
So
I
that's.
would. That'd be one of my first moves.
Mhm.
As soon
I'm
as
pretty
something
sure
like
all
that
the men in my
happens-
life would rob all the Walmarts.
Yeah, I'm getting insulin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
we'll
it.
figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's fun to think like that. But I'm telling you, it's got to be less than 5%.
Yeah.
People are so reliant in the U.S. to have somebody have a grocery store or have something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So tying all those things together.
All right, go.
Because that's I also enjoy that. I maybe not necessarily enjoy the thought, but it's one of those things where I've told Tony before, and I think told my wife before. Like I
Dude,
feel
this
like
is really good, by the way.
you need to stir it.
I did.
I felt
twice.
like I would fit in very well about like 200, 150 years ago, like the kind of like the Wild West, like just kind
Like
of
an old soul.
yeah, like just kind of surviving on your own. Like I take advantage of new
Mhm.
technologies and like showers and
Yeah,
soap.
shower's good.
You know,
Air conditioning.
Yeah.
air
Oh, yeah,
conditioning.
for
I
sure.
love those things, but there's something to be said about just being able to survive. And in America, like kind of dialing it back from that, because I like the idea of the survival thing. Like,
Mhm.
I find myself, I flourish in difficult situations.
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
when I'm at work and everything's going great, I love it. But I get bored.
Yeah.
And as soon as somebody they're like, oh, you're gonna have to do this, that we got all this disaster in front of us. I'm like, really? Like I was really enjoying not doing anything. But there's something inside me that goes, fuck, finally I get to do something.
Yeah.
Sweet. So like
Yeah.
I enjoy those thoughts, but at the same time, you look at the America, like you said,
Mhm.
versus the rest of the world. Like being able to know people that do those things and being able to know people that, build structures or farm or,
Yeah.
Connecting all those things, like that's a real life thing for
Yep.
a lot of people around the world.
So
You know what I mean? It's not, people forget that the entire world is not like America where you can just drive 10 minutes down the road to the Walmarts
right.
or order it off at Amazon and you get it in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's people living consistently around the world. A lot of people
What
that are
dude?
just trying to survive on a day-to-day basis.
So two things. What's the one? So YouTube. Apparently, that's a passion of mine. Is YouTube, but the guys that are building out like these mansions basically out of dirt. You guys seen that stuff yet?
I haven't.
So you sit there, they chip away this dirt, and they make like their own moats and stuff like that, like their own like mansions basically underground. It's insane. I'll have to send them to you.
You have to
It's
send me a
awesome.
link.
Sounds
It sounds
awesome.
Dude,
interesting.
it's the weirdest thing because it was one of those like things like whenever I go to YouTube, I'm like, I'm not looking at the videos, I'm just searching for something. I know what I'm doing because they're gonna feed me a freaking ad. I
Yeah.
don't want to look at it.
and then the next 3 hours
4 hours
later.
later.
Yeah, I was like, damn it, man. I was like, but it was like one of those things. I was like, this is actually pretty cool, anyways. But they basically they chip away like in clay. They make their own like houses and pools and stuff like that. It's the craziest thing in the world.
I think I saw the pool.
Yeah,
And
It's
he,
like an
worked his
underground-
way down.
yeah. He just
Yeah.
and,
that was
and it's just
crazy.
this time lapse thing. I actually
Yep.
saw a log cabin being built that way as a
Really?
kid that never knew how to build a log cabin. His grandpa was basically said, "Here's," and it was like it wasn't like chainsaws. It was like raw, like
Raccoon
actual-
beams.
Yeah, and it was in Russia or something like that, and like he made the whole damn thing himself, or was in process of it. And he was just like he was 16 or something like that, and was like, "I'm going to learn how to do this because
It's awesome.
I need to have that skill."
Yeah.
If shit hit the fan,
Yep.
dude, I'm going to go get one house, please. That's not going to happen.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I'm going to learn how to do that because at a point, everybody needs to have a part. there's gonna and like I think like my thing is like think of like DJ Khaled, right? He's like, I'm not a musician, I just get people together and I make music, There needs to be a
He's
DJ
the facilitator.
He's the facilitator of the music. Like there needs to be like a DJ Khaled of like the Wild West. Like, all right, I'm gonna get the doctor, I'm gonna get the guy that builds the house, the other guy that's good at like the
You need a facilitator.
Yeah, you need a DJ Khaled back in the Wild West.
I think that's us, bro.
Maybe.
We've landed on
You
that.
know some people that
Now
know.
we-
Why do you think we've
Yeah.
done the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you do that.
Yeah,
you're
We're
we're
just
like-
prepping this whole
After
time.
every single time, it's like we get the list out. Like, nope, not that one.
Nope.
not
on,
Chad.
this
He
one,
likes
he's
Hondas.
staying.
Those won't be good.
He's on the island.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
If he owns a Honda, he knows how to work on them. So he has some kind of mechanical skills.
No,
So-
I don't.
Oh,
I do
okay,
though.
shit.
Wait,
Well,
maybe I do. I don't know.
maybe
But
you're-
like, if you watch like that, you like, what is it like? The Walking Dead or like the show Lost, right? You've always got this whole survival type thing, and like people are all everybody's got their niche. People that don't have a niche, dude, doors right there, man.
right?
See ya.
You're the one that don't have the meal.
And that's the 95% of Americans. Doors right there because you guys don't got nothing to offer. You're good at like Googling. Okay, cool.
Get us something. You can collect something.
I mean, I guess you could be procreating or something, but still, other than that,
everyone's got a. Well,
Yeah.
not everybody, but you could theoretically.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It went way deep on that. Sorry,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know how. I don't remember where that came from.
I don't
It's all right, man. It almost sounded like it was leading into your selectionism, if you will, or your naturalism or
Yeah, what
Darwinism.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say Darwinism now. I think it's kind of transformed for me over the years. So I used to say
Selection.
I don't know. I don't know if this I don't know if it's really a term, but this in my mind I was saying like I used to be much a very like natural selectionist.
Yeah, of course.
But
I joke about that. Somebody cuts me off. I'm like, natural selection. You'll hit a guardrail. Don't worry.
yeah, well, not even that, but like just I think there's a lot of things. Again, did I say it right? I said it wrong.
Again?
Yeah, I said it wrong. I don't know. That's just how I say it.
Again.
I don't know. Let me tell you.
That's close.
But like, we have all this technology and all this medical advancements and different, safety things and whatnot that are able to, extend our life expectancies and all, which are amazing things.
You're talking modern medicine, or are you talking like
everything?
Okay.
Like all just advancements in
Okay.
human civilization in general.
All right.
Agriculture.
Got it.
Even has all. So a lot of people would hear when I say like I'm a natural selectionist, because I don't know if that's an actual thing, and think that like, oh well, you're saying that everybody that they can't take care of themselves, or they need this medicine, or they need this whatever, that they should just die. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we should continue to try to advance our culture, but like at some point I think we're allowing some people to just not do anything. Like you look at, we've talked about before, like the homeless issue out in California.
Yeah.
But there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people just
It's actually
homeless.
pretty bad. Yeah.
It's
I've been out there. It's pretty bad.
Have you been out there recently?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I went out to, what was it, like Redlands area and all that stuff. You don't see it until you see it. Because it's one of those things that's kind of like a mirage. Like, unless you look for it. And then when you look for it, you're like, oh, dude, that's like bad.
yeah.
Like,
So
it's
like,
there.
yeah. And so in my mind, like I understand that there's people out, there's, the people that end up homeless or end up in a bad
shit
situation. Shit happens. You grow
Yeah.
up, you have a terrible home life, or you have a terrible childhood, or
mental issues, whatever.
mental issues. Sometimes it's dependencies, sometimes it's addiction, and I get there's a lot of extenuating circumstances there, but there's some people that are just worthless just because they want to be worthless.
Anchors.
Yeah, it's
they,
like
they have no desire to contribute, even if they're completely
they're
mentally
complacent.
capable.
They're complacent with it.
The cognition is there, and they're able-bodied, but they're still anchors.
no, people are cool with they're cool with like just taking that check, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just like, I'm cool with just like, here, I'm cool. What is it? $300 a week. I'm good.
an extra, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Look at the help wanted signs right now, right? There's a lot of
Everywhere.
people like that. So guess what? When that gravy train ends, what's gonna happen? Fuck, back to work. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like
we already saw that, man. Like we tried to hire at the hormone replacement clinic, we have patient advocates, and so like you call up, they'll walk you through everything, and this guy was interviewed phenomenally, had awesome references. Guy came in, And he was like, I've been off for a long time. And he was like, dude, I just can't do this. He lasted like 1 day, and he was like, I just can't
really?
transition back into work. Didn't last.
Oh, he needed a safe space. Something.
Or a swift kick in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my parents would say you need to get your ass in gear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Get your ass in gear, because if not, then you're not going to do anything.
Yeah. I think that goes back to just, anything worthwhile, you're going to struggle though. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
if
need
it's
to
not
do
worthwhile.
you need to do hard shit every single
Yeah.
day.
What was it they
It
were
makes
talking
hard
about? Our,
men, and it goes back to the Rogan quote that you've quoted before.
That's
Oh,
not
what's
Rogan.
that?
Well, I mean, he repeats it
He says
on
it
a
a
regular
lot.
basis.
Yeah, but I can't remember exactly who said it. But it was it hard times?
well,
what was
iron
it?
sharpens iron, man.
Well, yeah, iron sharp, but it was
That's biblical, though.
that is.
I can't remember exactly how it's supposed to start.
We could touch on that.
Hard times make hard men make easy times make soft men make hard times.
That's a long one.
But it's just, you see the progression
Yeah.
of, if you're not trying to contribute, or if you're not trying to better yourself or somebody else or your community or something like that, then like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's too many people that are comfortable with just taking that handout and just,
Yeah.
I think we should have,
And that's biblical too, about the children and the widows. But if you're able-bodied, not going to give to you.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
yeah. And I think I think we should, I think there's people and there's places and there's times for support, but it should
Yeah.
be like a rehabilitation kind of thing. Like, all right, you need some help right now. Get
Yeah.
it. We've all been there.
Yeah.
But here's your help, and here's how we're going to move forward. It's
Yeah.
not just, here's your money, go on.
This is the
lazy
gravy
fuck.
train right now.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's the part that I have a hard time with, because
What was it? It was saying that it's like, I think in the Bible it was talking about there will always be people that are poor, right?
Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
always going to be people that are poor. And it's hard to grasp that concept, because like, what is poor, right? Somebody that has $1 million isn't poor,
Yeah.
but
well,
maybe somebody that has $2.5 trillion to somebody that's $1 million, that $1 million person is poor.
because all things are relative.
Right.
so-
Exactly. So you think about that. It's like, dude, well, there's always going to be somebody that has less than,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
You have one rock versus two rocks. Just a rock, man. I
Yeah.
got more than a rock. I got a cup that's freaking got drinks in it and stuff. But that person over there that's got two rocks, he's got more than the guy that's got one.
yeah,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
it's all relative.
Yeah, exactly.
And like what we talked about before, maybe this is a little stepping out a little bit, but if everybody is equal, then we're all poor.
Right. Yeah. There's
If
always
there's-
going to be, like, what was it? I think it was Peterson's talk, or maybe it wasn't Peterson, but somebody's like, okay, let's just take everybody, let's give them all $25,000. Even the rich people take all away their money. Everybody gets $25,000. What's going to happen?
Poor people are going to spend it, and they're going to be poor again, and
Right.
the rich people are
Exactly.
going to build it, and they're going to be rich again.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
So
the
there's
price
something
and the
else.
price to everything
It's not
that you're
money.
buying is no longer. It's
They're
I
being
have
Satoshis, basically.
yeah. Well, I kind of have a thought that I've done for something before, where it was, a good way to explain it is like it's inflation. It's at its core.
That's the thing, yeah.
If somebody has a car and they want to sell it for $10,000,
Mhm.
and you have 4 people that want to buy that car,
Yeah, supply and demand.
right? Supply and demand.
Okay.
So one person out of that 4 has $10,000. So only one person can afford that car. Well, good old government comes along and gives everybody $10,000. So if those other 3 people had $5,000 to start off with, try to follow me here. So now one person has $20,000.
Yeah.
3 people have $15,000. How much do you think that car is going to sell for now?
Your buying power is higher.
It's not 10,000. That person's going to go, oh, well, there's 4 people that want this car. 3 of them have $15,000. One of them has $20,000. They all want to buy the car.
Mhm.
Well, guess what?
Yeah, that's literally happening right now with
I'm
all
gonna-
used
yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah, no
I'm
shit.
going to sell the car for $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's inflation. So whenever you give everybody the same amount of money, guess what? Everything just costs more.
Exactly. Look at poker, right? Same thing, right? You start off equal, then everybody gets more money, and the people that have more
The
money
ante
have more
keeps
power.
on getting higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to.
Ah,
You're
dude,
pulling
dude.
a Tony. He's pulling a Tony
Yes.
on us. All right. Take a break.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're good, man.
Yeah.
You need a urinal right here, then I can pee right here.
Just whip it out. So and here's why, man. I'm a very like, you do what you need to do in your life. Like, I do not like laws of paternalism. I don't
Yeah.
want someone to protect me from myself because they think they know better. This goes back to the you know, the
Oh.
conversation we had in terms of like, dude, if you want to do all kinds of drugs,
do
if you want to
crystal
do
meth.
whatever,
Yeah, this is what we got in an argument about the one time.
yeah, like fire away,
Discussion.
man. I don't like it, and I treat that population,
Yeah.
and I see what happens to children. I see what happens to all that, but also I'm like, I see the other side of it. I see that slippery slope of someone trying to protect you from yourself. And so for me, the vaccine, like, yes, I've done the research.
I don't know if I could talk about it, but
yeah, no, it's.
I mean, you can talk about it, but I don't know if I can give my personal opinion about
it's
it.
all right. It's
Okay.
all right. I got COVID, and so I still have active antibodies. And from everything I've read, the active
still
antibodies,
do?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's as effective or more effective than
absolutely.
Yeah, than the vaccine.
Scientifically.
The vaccine itself. Oh, we're talking facts and science here.
Don't you spit your
So,
have you looked
so
over there?
refreshing. So refreshing. But I'm hey, if you feel that you need to get it, go ahead and get it. If you don't want to get it, that's fine. Like, you know, my job was like, hey, you know, you need to wear your mask, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I got the most comfortable mask.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm young, I'm healthy. Like I said, I already caught it. It wasn't that bad. You know, I'd go through it again. It's fine. I don't work around a very at-risk population. And so I'm like, I don't feel that it's appropriate for me. And then the other thing too is, you know, there's no, I mean, we just don't know. There's no studies that are like, hey, here's what happened a year after the vaccine came out. Here are the long-term side effects, you know, being that it's not even really a vaccine, the whole mRNA thing.
It's a test thing, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty wild. I've done some crazy things, but like, that's just not one of them I'm willing to do.
It says you're in disclosure. Like if somebody said, you know, here's a Big Mac, right? And you're like, I'll pay you $100 to eat that Big Mac. You're like, normally I eat Big Macs, not a problem, but you're going to pay me? Well, I don't know if I'm going to eat that Big Mac, you know, because you've done something to it in order for me to eat that Big Mac, right? For me, it's one of those things. It's until you've sat there and everybody's ate a Big Mac, everybody's all right. They've just got a little obese, maybe, who knows? And I'm just like, I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to opt out. Maybe.
I think it's,
yeah. I got to skirt around that line.
No,
allegedly.
Well, no, I think it's, to me, the whole thing is, to me as well, as taking a look at all the statistics, actually looking at all the science, all the evidence.
It's still being built, though. That's the problem.
Well,
the statistics are still being put.
No, absolutely.
Because we're making the statistics
but
right
those
now.
that's part of the statistics.
Yeah.
And part of the evidence is looking at all of it and making your own decision.
Right.
And that's I think how it should be.
Yeah.
Make your own decision. And it goes back to the whole, you know, drug abuse or, you know, using drugs or anything. To me, it's as long as you are not directly doing something to affect me or somebody else, like as long as you're not actively, you know, making decision that is affecting someone's life, then I'm cool. Like,
I think your intentions are good, right? So like we talked about this. I told you like this is the one thing I didn't want to talk about.
We don't have to talk about it.
But I was like, we got an argument about it. But it's like I think that you've since like reflected on it too in a couple of your podcasts I've listened to. And it's like I think we talked about like the guy that wants to sit there and do cocaine or something like that in his own house, or that's interested in a certain kind of pornography or something like that. I was like, you know, we both got daughters. And it was like, well, it's not affecting us until it does, you know? And you're like, what, how would that happen? And I was like, I don't know, man, shit leads to like different things. And you're
no,
like,
it does. But that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
That's like saying we need to make
at that point,
we
you
need to
wanna
make a
cut it
law
off.
against this one thing because it's okay. So we'll get
into it. That's fine.
We'll get real crazy here.
Yeah.
I equate that with anti-hate laws.
Ooh, it's a good topic.
I think those things are very parallel, where you beat somebody up because they're a certain
physically or mentally.
Physically, you
yeah,
physically attack somebody.
They can't do that
because they're either of a certain
doesn't matter.
Sex,
you can't do it.
Color,
yeah,
you know, belief, religious belief, any of those things.
Yeah.
Well, we already have laws to say, hey, it's wrong to beat somebody up.
You can't beat somebody pure dead.
So we don't need to make an additional law to say, well, you can't beat this person up
because
of this thing that they are. Wait, we already have a law against
Mhm.
beating somebody up. Why do we need a law against
Yeah.
beating somebody up?
Because
Because
they're
they're a
brown.
certain thing.
Yeah.
So we're like, just because somebody does something for a specific reason, then it's worse than if somebody does something just because.
No, it's because you're quantifying it. So if somebody has blue hair, you're going to beat them up. Somebody has brown skin, you're going to beat them up. You can't beat somebody up, dude. That's the thing.
Right. So I look at that. I look at that the exact same way as
All
the
right.
drug thing. Well,
Oh,
if I can do this, if a person can do a drug, and they're not affecting somebody else,
Mhm.
then we don't need to make the drug illegal. We need to make the thing that they would do wrong illegal. So it's very
Wait, time out.
nuanced.
So
But-
you're
but,
saying
you know,
so the act of
that's what
doing
I'm saying.
you're saying the act of doing drugs should be illegal, not those drugs should be illegal.
No,
No, the getting behind a vehicle when you're high from doing those drugs.
Yeah.
should be
that-
illegal
shouldn't
because
do
you
that.
could affect somebody.
Why
But-
would doing cocaine be any different than drinking alcohol?
It's not.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
point.
But
So if you're
cocaine
doing
is
cocaine in your
illegal.
house, you're not affecting anybody.
But
You're
that's a
not beating
drug, though.
anybody up.
Yeah.
You're not. And to
Alcohol is a drug.
Oh,
Just-
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
So is caffeine.
absolutely.
yeah. So
ADD
that's-
medicine.
Yeah.
It's all a drug. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he's just saying the
Norepinephrine.
act that could cause
Mhm.
harm onto somebody else getting behind a vehicle, right? Like alcohol is not illegal,
Yeah, but like
But-
masturbating in public is illegal too
Because you're affecting other people.
because you're affecting other people.
right?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. When you aren't affecting other people, why should a thing be illegal if you're not affecting anybody else?
Because it could lead to other things. They call it the gateway drug.
Yeah, but those are two different things. Those are
Is it?
two completely different
Are
things.
you talking about marijuana?
no, but, I mean,
Well,
it
I mean,
was a
that's
joke,
what I'm
but
saying.
yeah.
No.
But like if you're like saying like, okay, today like prohibition, right? Alcohol is illegal. We're all drinking alcohol right
Well,
now.
that could lead to a lot of different things.
But it could very well could be smoking cigarettes, right?
A good
Right.
time is what I think it leads to.
right, but so that's you just proved my point. The fact that
How
you
did I
drink
prove-
alcohol, drinking
Go
alcohol
ahead.
could lead to other things.
It could.
So why isn't it illegal?
Should be. If I'm going to stick hard to my
You don't
thing
have
here.
to, though. That's the whole point.
Damn it.
That's the whole point. Is I think it's doing something wrong to other people.
No, you shouldn't do that.
That
so,
should be
so be a
illegal.
good person, right?
Right,
is
that
it like,
should be
let's
illegal.
just bring it back to like I think Tony and I align on this, like the 10 Commandments, right? Like do unto others as you would do unto them, right?
Yeah.
Don't screw somebody else over because you're going to get it back tenfold. I sat there at the campsite and somebody parked. Some lady came up to me and she's like, "Hey, I think you're in my spot." I'm like, I'm not. Let me tell you why I'm not. And then I thought back and I looked at like daily, verse of the day, and it was like, be nice to your neighbor as you would be nice to them. Like that's the one commandment that you should follow. And I'm like, crap, man, you always hit me upside the head. So move my car in the back part, or whatever. But it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know where I was going with that, but I kind of got off that tangent.
All I think, and all those can be reduced to one thing, dude. Just the
Don't be a
umbrella.
dickhead.
The
You know what I'm saying?
the umbrella of love, though.
Yeah.
The umbrella of love, and I think you could apply it to pretty much all situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
If you come at it from a good place, then you're going to end up in a good place. But even if you come at it at a good place, though, I've seen in times like you may be like, hey, I want this to be this way. Your end goal could be very selfish, right? If you're like, I want you to be this, or I feel like, whatever, I don't know. I've seen it go both ways. And
Yeah.
there's some things that like I've gone on my own personal life to where it's like people have come and said, I've got the best of intentions, but even the best of intentions could be, end up in a bad way.
Yeah, but was that really love in the first place then?
I think the intention was, yeah. Their
But I'm-
intent.
But I mean, what do they say about the road to hell?
I don't know.
It's
Paved with good intentions.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what I'm. So to that point too, it's no matter how good your intentions are, just because you have good intentions doesn't mean you're not hurting somebody
Yeah,
else.
Correct.
It doesn't mean it's a good action.
Yeah, if I put on a shirt that says America, somebody could be offended. I've got good intentions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
Fuck those people.
Absolutely. But
yeah, that's all. That was a bad. That was a
yeah.
that was a
But
bad
it
example,
goes back
okay.
to-
But there's a lot of people like
The
that.
good intentions. So
Thanks, Cassie.
I'm
you said what I was
choosing
thinking.
not to have an immunization because I intend to keep that out of my body, right?
Yeah.
I have no intention to hurt anybody else.
Right.
But I've been called selfish. I've been called self-centered. Like, no, that should
What
still
happened
be
to my
my
body,
that
my
should still be
choice?
my
Like,
choice.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What happened to that?
You really want to go down that
No, I
road,
don't.
Chad?
Oh, yeah, that's
Cassie-
another one.
Because I mean,
there
I
was two
could.
things. One, I got in a conversation with you about. One, I got, and we were both like, we're not going to touch on that again.
But it can't be. It cannot be my body, my choice when you want it to be. It can't be. Just like
Absolutely
you
right,
can't
yeah.
pick the Bible verse
Yep.
that goes with the belief you have
Right.
when you're going to ignore the rest of them. It can't
Yeah.
be that way.
No,
It
you have to be
has
humble enough to be like, hey, listen, I screwed
Yeah.
up and I
Yeah.
sinned. If you're going to say like, hey, there's sin and truth and like I'm going to be part of the Bible, you have to be willing to admit like, hey, I sinned here. And you have to eat that shit sandwich. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
can't be like, oh, but I don't follow that part. Sodomy, I'm cool with that. You know, like you can't like pick and choose. Like that's it.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's so. Yeah, maybe we don't have to dwell on it, but I think it's one of those things where you just have to. You have to find your own path.
Yeah.
And you have to be at at the end of the day, you have to be okay with sitting down and either one staying if you find yourself in that position, if you're honest with your self-appraisal enough to find yourself in a position where you were a hypocrite or you were this or that, whatever, you have to be okay eating that shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Or you have to be okay with being a self-righteous hypocrite, an asshole.
Yeah, I think a lot of times
You know
though
what I
is
mean?
like it's.
I'm not saying you.
No,
personally.
I know,
I'm just
I
saying
know.
in general, like
No,
if you're willing to be
But
honest
eating-
with yourself,
I think eating the shit sandwich though is accepting and asking for forgiveness. If you're not
absolutely.
because the
Yeah.
thing is like we all have to understand like first and foremost we're not perfect, right? There's nobody that's
Nobody,
perfect on the
yeah.
earth except for one person that walked. In my belief, right? Nobody else. And the thing is, if somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm perfect," I'm like, it's like, okay, let me challenge you on this. You ever get pissed off? You ever get this, that, and the other? Oh, yeah, a little bit. Oh, what about that? You know. But the thing is like you have to understand that like nobody's perfect. And the whole thing about like forgiveness is like you just say like, "Hey, I screwed up, man." And I think that action right there shows more character than what somebody that says it's like, "Oh, I've never sinned."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like saying, "Hey, Fred, I'm sorry, I screwed up, man. I shouldn't have done that." That shows more character than I didn't do anything wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely. I think to me, it's just that defining factor for people is, all right, you screwed up, or I screwed up. I apologized. Now what am I going to do?
But you can't like Layla. You can't just like roll over and be like, "Rub my belly."
Yeah,
You know?
sorry, I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me? No, it's all right.
Or you can't just roll over and be like, complete beta about it. Like you have to be like, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry. Let's move on." Versus like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do
No,
that."
but sure, but yeah, but
You know
you
what I'm
have to
saying?
be. You also have to change.
You have to be genuine.
You have to be genuine about the apology, and then you have to move forward like you actually meant the apology, and that means
Not act. You have to actually mean it.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have to actually do
Yeah.
the things
Yeah.
that show.
That's what shows a genuine person. I think that's like the thing that like that's the reason why we like hanging out with you guys, because like you see a lot of people that are very fake and that are willing to be like, "Oh yeah, hey, yeah, oh yeah, you did this, oh my gosh," and like you can tell like those people are fake. But then you see somebody that's like yourself, you're like, "I don't agree with that." I'm like, "Oh, why not?"
Yeah, I'll be the first one to call you
Yeah.
on your bullshit.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh,
But it
damn."
might not be as bullshit. It just might be your opinion.
Oh yeah, and I
Like,
would.
it's
okay.
nice that you both.
But it's nice that you spoke up and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's my opinion. It's different
Yeah.
than yours."
Yeah, and I quantify that by saying,
what I'm saying?
I would hope from my friends that because would be one of the first ones to call them out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
I hope from them that they would be the first ones to call
Your
me
knife
out
looks like shit, Fred.
on my bullshit. You know what I mean?
But it looks good.
Yeah, but if you were like, oh, this is really cool, like, oh, what's this here? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
screwed
that,
it up,
dude. But
You
I
know,
think
but
that
not
like that shows like true friendship though. Like if Tony said to you like, "Hey, dude, I like your knife, but man, there's a spot on here." Like,
yeah, or could you or could we do this
Could you-
differently?
yeah, would this be,
like, or
like-
could we do this with it? Or could
well, I
we do
told
that
you
with
at the
it? Or-
beginning, I was like, at your podcast, I was like, "Hey, man, you might be better if you didn't have cuss words." And you're like, "Fuck that, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have cuss words."
Right,
But
no,
like
and like
me
I said, like,
saying
I
that,
appreciate you
yeah,
saying
me saying
that.
that was like because like I don't care if you like that or not, but that's my opinion, man.
Yeah, and
'Cause
I
care
appreciate.
about
I remember
you.
that. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah, Chad, it was.
I think I told him I wouldn't be allowed on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be allowed on the show ever.
and I've been actively trying not to cuss, but it is what it is.
No,
Why?
But it's like people that are
but
like,
why?
I don't know, but people that
because
are
he
like,
realizes his
Because-
voice is being put out there.
no, I'm a sailor at heart. But anyways, but like at the beginning, I was like, "Hey man, if I would have been like, oh, I think it's great, everything's good," you would have been like, "I don't need to improve upon anything." But like
Yeah.
if I had something besides that, you were like, "Oh yeah, actually that's a really good point." Not the cussing thing, but maybe something else. It would have been like beneficial. And the whole point was to benefit, not to pump your head full of,
No, absolutely. I think that's the whole point of the, at least in my mind, this conversation of what centers around is, if you can find those people that say, hey, this is really cool, or this is really good, or I think you did this really well, but
Yeah.
this.
It's genuine.
And then you realize when someone says that to you, like you said, hey, in the beginning, maybe you shouldn't cuss on the podcast.
Yeah, try that.
I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I appreciate your input.
Literally the same thing.
No, I think I literally said, no, fuck that.
Fuck that. That's all right.
And I appreciate that. But then what that tells me is the next time you say something about it, you're giving your honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because you gave me your opinion. I told you I thought it was fucking stupid. And you're like, okay. But then next time you give me another opinion, I'm going to go, oh.
That's his honest opinion.
It's his honest opinion because he knows I'm going to give my honest opinion back to him. Yeah. And like you said multiple times, like we've had conversations where we've argued, or, not disagreements, and we've talked about it. Yeah. So to be able to sit down with somebody and have a disagreement and say,
you learn something about it.
Yeah, you say, well, I think this. And the other person says, well, I think that's stupid. And this is why.
Here's why.
And you go, well, I get what you're saying, but I think you thinking it's stupid is stupid. And here's why. And being able to have those conversations and being able to disagree with people. Yeah. Even on some pretty hefty ideas and topics and beliefs, but be able to, at the end of the conversation, go, hey, good conversation.
Yeah, it made you think. It's like change my mind, right? Think of Steven Crowder.
But even if you don't, like I didn't change my mind. I still think that one idea of yours is fucking stupid. Right. But I still like you. We can be friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and to me, that's.
I think at the end of the day, you still get something from it. You still say, holy shit, there's somebody out there with some differencing of opinion than me.
Yeah.
And you're like, how could they think that? And you're like, maybe I want to talk to them a little bit more about that.
Thank God, because if they didn't, it would be so boring.
Everybody would be high-fiving. You'd be like, high five. Oh, I like your pink shorts. High five. And like, nobody would be like, that looks stupid. And the person that says that looks stupid, you'd be like, why? Why is the curiosity and chronic curiosity.
Exactly.
Why?
Well, it's just the same thing in a relationship. I swear you like me more since you started all this, and I am very honest, and we have heated disagree. We don't have arguments. We have disagreements.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that
when you're married, that's what
maybe not at the beginning, but eventually you're like, I really like you.
Yeah, the more we push against each other, like
completely,
you guys are like so in love with each other. It's funny.
I really like you.
I like
you
it
do.
a
You're
lot.
like, and I'm like,
Put the
I'm
lotion
just
in the basket.
It puts the lotion on the face.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's what we talked about before too.
yeah.
Like the more, the more Cass and I get, because we've been together. We went on our first date almost 15 years ago. Next month, and
I got you beat. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell a fucking story, Chad.
Hey, who can do the most push-ups? I want to hear it right now.
But the more we get to know each other, the more we disagree.
Yeah.
Because until you're getting to know another person and having those conversations, especially on complex, ideas and beliefs, you're like, you just meet somebody on the street corner, like you can have a conversation and be like, oh, yeah, I love everything about that person.
Right.
But the more and more you get to know somebody, it just makes sense that the more and more you should disagree with them. But if you really are truly a friend with somebody or, love somebody, then you should be able to disagree more and more, but still get to know each other more and more and love each other more and more.
Yeah.
Because you're realizing that, hey, this, like you said, everyone's different.
Yeah.
There's
Wait,
no two
how
people
many
that are
things
the
have you changed my mind for the better over the 15 years? Like
same
lots
here.
of things.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah. The same here.
Yeah. And so if you don't have that resistance, like
that's yin and yang,
it's
dude.
boring.
Yeah.
Was it Peterson talks about chaos and order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you need a little bit of both.
And for whatever reason, he labels the woman as chaos, right? The men as order, which I see. Like I was trying to dispute that in my own life. I'm like, now my wife has order, but then every time we go packing for our camping trip, I'm like, do you remember this? She's like, I forgot that. I'm like,
well, he does it in a way I don't know how to. I won't even pretend. to try to
we
explain
can't
it
even go
because
down
he
that
does it
road.
in a way that's very deep. Because he's a psychologist.
Yeah, he's not trying to say like women are like chaos. And
no,
he just says that like that part is chaos, but then men are made to try to create order of that. But without chaos, there couldn't be order. Is basically what he's trying to say.
Without order, there is no chaos, and I think he uses words. So anybody that's listening to this, he uses words that he doesn't necessarily. The definition to certain
You mean,
words
like,
aren't
literal?
like the definition that as soon as you hear chaos and order,
Yeah.
or the first thing that pop in your head, like
shithead
really,
and not.
yeah. Well, he really dives into different things.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
And I think that's an important part of communication too. Is when somebody says a word, just because we think of something when someone says that word doesn't mean that is exactly what that other person's thinking out when they say that word. So you have to like say, okay, wait a minute. Whoa, that sounded really weird.
What's your definition?
Why did you say that?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Because that sounded kind of fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's again, like in certain places, like you could say, like, you could call somebody a name or whatever, be like, hey, shithead, and in certain circles, you could be like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But in other circles, it's like, oh, yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's up, dickhead?
What was it? Who was it? Was it Shanlin when I talked about calling my wife bro? Or who was it? I said something about how I call you bro, and he was like, "No, it was Miles."
It was Miles.
When I said something about calling my wife bro, and he was like, he's like, "Does he really call you bro?" He's like, "That's fucked up." That's just like, and I call my kid bro.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, bro.
Yeah, it's like it's a.
Are you sure your name's not Chad? Are you sure?
I know. Right?
It started because we were making fun of my brother, and then it just stuck.
Yeah,
you got to.
8 years later, I use it all the time now.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where at the same time, I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and I was ripping on him.
Yeah.
I was making fun of him.
Good. He needs it.
Well, I was like, you know what? And he was like, like we used to work together, whatever. But I was like, yeah. I was like, obviously, like if I didn't like love you, I wouldn't make fun of you.
Yeah.
Because if I don't like somebody, then I'm just gonna ignore you.
Him, yeah.
But like when I make fun of somebody, that's guys. I think guys do that a little more.
Dude,
than
that's
most.
so weird.
But guys just like that's like a love language for guys.
It
it's
is.
just like shitting on each other.
That's when you said that off the rip about the skinny jeans.
Oh yeah, I was like, hey, sweet skinny jeans,
I was like,
bro.
dude, I can get on board with that. Like, this dude's talking shit like he feels comfortable here.
Yeah.
Like that's his personality. I was like,
he's looking
I
at
like it already.
Wait, he's looking at my pink shorts and he's like,
no man,
I get you, bro. Don't worry.
I'm a huge like you do you, and I love that shit talking, man. That's the tree side of me. That's the camaraderie of the dudes that I hang out with. Like there's something comfortable and familiar with that level of shit.
But see so for me, when I was in high school, I always got made fun of, and I was depressed, way depressed in high school. I don't know how much time I got, but I was super depressed in high school. Didn't really do anything. Had shitty grades and all that kind of stuff like that. And it was my buddy named Jesse. Jesse, that's his real name. But anyways, Jesse would sit there and he, you'd sit at the lunchroom, you try to find your group of people. You had the popular ones, the freaks and geeks, whatever. And he was like driving a Camaro LT1, Z28, whatever, blah, 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 the little squared headlight little deal.
Yep.
A sweet freaking Camaro, posi track, this other stuff. He used to do short track racing, and like they were like the misfits, right? And so I'd go in there, the lunchroom, and I didn't fit in with anybody. I didn't have a fade or anything, but like my parents didn't have money when I grew up, and I just didn't have friends. So you go into the lunchroom, you don't have anybody. And he came over one day. He was like, hey man, you come over here and sit with us if you want, Okay. He's like, but you're and we called each other certain names. I'm not going to say it right now, but we call each other, start with an F and with a G, and there was an A, I think, in between or something like that. But we call everybody that.
Right.
We didn't mean that in a literal
Right.
sense, but like that was a thing we did back in the day, and I think it's past the point of return, right? Or past the whatever. Anyways, so we would call each other that. We'd call each other names. We'd cut each other down. But then like years later in my like early 30s, I went and talked to him. I was like, hey man, you got a kid, I got a kid. Or I don't have a kid yet, but I'm married and all that stuff. I was like, dude, why do we give each other so much crap in high school? He's like, dude, if I picking on you, man. I mean, I didn't like you.
Yeah.
I was picking on you because I liked you. Come on, Beach. He'd call me Beach. Like, oh, Beach, no. I'm like, oh, it didn't click until then. I'm like, dude, I got picked on a lot by you guys. He's like, yeah, it's because we really like you, man. Like, you're a cool dude. I'm like, whew. Like, cool, because this other like popular groups, they just picked on me because they didn't like me, and you could tell.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like the playing around. There's the horsing around, and there's like the, hey, I don't like you. Yeah, I don't like you. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. The funny part is too is like people that actually meant it. Now I'm friends with, because they're still in high school basically. So
yeah, it's one of those things where it is weird. Like especially, I know I've had that conversation where like people see like high school boys or even grown adults. Grown boys. We'll call them grown boys.
Yeah.
Where they're like
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good show.
All right.
It's a show too. But like that's part of that. It's whatever it is. It's part of that culture of like beating. I don't know if it's either.
It's a rite of passage, dude.
Well, I don't know if it's like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up so like I can see if like you can take it, and then all right, then you can beat me up back. But it's always one of those things like,
if you're not willing to like take it and give it right back, then you're not a big enough man. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be confident enough to be like sweet skinny jeans to a guy that's like twice as big as me.
right? And
Because the thing is,
okay, you pink shorted bitch.
yeah,
Like, and then it's like,
you know, I'm saying like
let's see how far we can go with
But then the
this.
thing is, like, it gets to the point where it's like you both know, like, if it passes a line, you're like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, all right. No,
Hey man, I didn't mean to do that, you know.
Right.
But
Let's
it's
go
gotta,
get some dinner, you bitch.
It's got to get to that. It's got to get to that point. You're like, hey, I'm sorry for doing that, pussy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's always another tagline.
Yeah,
out there,
like, come on, man.
Yeah, there's a
freaking playing about that.
Well, she's doing something.
Oh, we're in trouble.
That's all right. Yeah, I think that's
it's a rite of passage, man.
it is. I think there's just so many things that change along the timeline of culture that we just kind of forget about. Like you mentioned, like the F word.
Did I?
I'm not going to say it either.
Fun?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one.
Oh,
but
LGBTQ
now,
plus.
Yeah,
thing.
but now like that's not in there. But like,
yeah,
it used to be when we were growing up. The Q, like queer, was a bad. What that was the bad word.
Was it?
I know when I was young, it wasn't like the F word was like the fun word. It was like, oh, you're
FAG.
gay, you're this, like, but not like it was.
But we called each other gay. Like we didn't mean that, man.
Right?
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like I guess what I'm talking about is the evolution of words, what they mean, the connotation
when you
of
assign
them,
power to them,
and like, and just different things where like you see like even in our, because we're not that old,
no,
but
ish.
I guess we're old and ish, but we're old enough to see like these changes where words that used to be really offensive when we were kids have completely flip-flopped, and we saw them like flip-flop to where they were like, it was like whatever, it wasn't a weird word, and then all these other words that we use like became
just a word,
offensive words, and then now they didn't, and then now they actually use queer as part of an identifying factor, where that used to be a really offensive.
That used to be
word.
like, oh gosh, dude,
yeah,
don't pull that one out.
Yeah, so it's like I guess my point to all that is that the communication and understanding, the definitions of when people say something, understanding what they mean, and understanding where someone's coming from, and not automatically assigning your own intent to be their intent.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And that's just communication, like you talked
Context.
about. I think I don't remember if we caught it back when we started recording it, but like, through the pandemic and talking to people, like that was one of the biggest things.
Oh yeah.
Is when we started this was just like, it felt like people just
sitting around a campfire.
Yeah. And people just weren't talking anymore.
Yeah, because you would sit at home, you'd be afraid of like talking or high-fiving anybody. You'd be like, can you wash your hands or sanitize first? But then you wouldn't go out. And the thing is like when we would all, drink and sit around a campfire, you'd sit there and you'd be like, hey, whatever, call you a name, and they'd be like, I'm offended by that. And you'd be like, oh, shit, man, come here. Let me get you a drink. Like, why are you offended? And you would talk it through. You go, okay, well,
sorry, man. Didn't even realize.
Didn't even think about that, bro. Be like, hey, that's all right, man. But like, can you be more sensitive to that? Be like, dude, you know what, man? Maybe, yeah, I guess. Like, you might not change my opinion about it, but like, I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
You would change people's minds just talking around a campfire, like, no matter what. And then when you start getting into your, I don't know what you guys think about this phrase, but like your echo chamber, you get in certain things where people are like, dude, you can't call somebody, a male or a female. And you've got 15,000 other people like, yeah, you can't do that. And you start thinking that's a thing.
That's normal. Yeah,
that's
what
normal.
Everyone thinks.
That's what everybody thinks. But then you don't realize that outside your echo chamber, maybe in somebody else's echo chamber, that's completely malarkey. Like, you can't do that. So it's ridiculous to try to sit there and segregate yourself and try to like just narrow in on something. You have to go out and see what other people think. And I think podcasts really help people see that, because some podcasts are like, oh yeah, this person's evil, you can't vote for that person. And other podcasts are like, this other person's evil. But like, if you don't see their arguing points, you're never going to know what someone else thinks, right? Without communication, you don't have any clarity.
Yeah.
You have chaos.
Absolutely. And that's, I've listened to podcasts before where I'm like, oh, I heard this is an interesting podcast. And then I listen to it and I'm like, oh, well, I might as well just be watching TV or
Right.
watching this news channel
Just
or that news
entertainment.
channel, because it's the exact same thing. And the most interesting like conversations and podcasts and different shows that I've heard is just people having conversations.
Right.
And as soon as like somebody will say something and it's just free flowing, and someone's like, "Whoa, what did you mean by that?"
Oh yeah, you get that.
It's like, and like somebody like, "Well, like,
Oh shit.
yeah," and that you
Huh?
can tell the people sitting there are
Yeah.
like, "Well, this is what I mean." Oh, well, because I thought you meant this. Oh no, that's not what I mean at all. I mean this. Like,
Oh, you didn't? Like,
well, that makes sense.
yeah, it's that light
You know,
bulb.
it's like-
that light bulb is like chasing that light bulb, man, is really interesting. So
Yeah.
like when Tony uses big words, I'm like, whoa, big words.
You got to
Like,
pull out the Google.
what do you mean by that, man? Like, that's cool, But it's the thing is like my brain isn't like accustomed to using those words or using those type of things, and it's like you start Googling, and you're like, oh, okay, endocrine system, like that's kind of cool.
And it leads you down a whole different path.
Yeah.
That's how I am with
But without that, you don't have anything. You have this stagnant, freaking like
Same old
boring
thing.
line. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
still talking about the same damn thing, going on and on and on and on.
yeah, that's how I am with Eric Weinstein.
Oh,
I don't know if
really?
you ever like
Yeah,
some of this stuff, like, and he goes on like spiels
He
about
rants.
about quarks and down quarks and up quarks and
I haven't gotten that far
Hobbes
yet.
theories. There's one
Maybe it was
episode.
Brett I was listening to.
Yeah. Brett's a good one too.
Okay.
I remember I was listening to one
His brother.
with Eric, and he was talking about like the educational system and different things. But like, I listened to like this conversation for an hour, and I basically had no idea what he was talking about,
but you
because
were
he
like,
was just like
you were
his
zoned in.
Yeah, I
man.
was zoned in. I was trying to just like pick pieces
Google,
of
like pause,
breadcrumbs.
Google.
Yeah. And then like about an hour and a half into it, he said something, and it didn't all make sense by any means.
Yeah.
But like something just like, it was like someone just like jammed a piece of the puzzle in and it just clicked for a little bit. And I was
Oh.
just like, oh,
You know what that
like
is.
this is awesome. Like I actually understood something that this genius is saying. This is super cool. And I went on to not understand the rest of the half. Of the
You ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the movie The Matrix?
No, stop it.
You know when they put that one thing in that program, and they're like,
yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
no kung fu.
maybe that's what it was.
That's what it was. It's
That's
on
what
that
it was.
poster over there, by the way.
I'm gonna hang it. I don't know where we're gonna hang it.
Of course it is.
But I'll have to,
I don't
I'll
know.
have to put it up there.
Probably right there.
Full circle.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying.
Um,
No, it's good. I think that what's missing in our society is this. And this happened more fluid and more natural than what we thought until we
mean-
didn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we would go to bars, we would have these conversations, we would scream because the music's so loud. We'd, hey man, blah, blah. Then you go out and smoke a cigarette, like some people would, and then you would go out and be like, hey man, so we were talking about bourbon and we were talking about like Woodinville, like, dude, did you ever try this? And like you'd have these stupid conversations and you'd be like, yeah, those people are crazy over there, or they'd say some name and you'd be like, wait, you say that name? Like that's not cool. Oh, really? And you had this whole other conversation that spur off of
Leads.
that. Yeah. But like without that, everybody's sitting at home with a keyboard in front of
Oh.
them.
Yeah.
You don't have that, man. It's not natural.
Yeah.
I think we're missing that as a society,
I
and
agree.
podcasts allow us to have it more free flowing.
Well, Chad, I
That's-
appreciate you stroking my ego once again with the podcast.
No, I don't mean to,
No.
man. But I told you I want to start my own. I'm like you said, hey, I'm starting my own podcast. I'm like, dude, I want to do it too. Because talking to people from Worcester is different than talking to people from where I'm at.
Yeah.
Worcester?
Worcester, where the cows say "muh."
Oh, muh
Yeah, it's not
Oh.
a double O.
again.
It's again,
All
whatever.
right, cool.
On that note, Chad,
Thanks for talking again.
yeah,
I apprete
I
your
appreciate coming
patience
on.
again.
You didn't shit your pants,
No,
at least not that I know of.
metaphor. Dude, before I got here, you didn't want to be in the same car as me.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, having a free flowing conversation,
Yeah, man.
and I really appreciate it.
We didn't even talk about aliens.
We
Not
didn't.
once.
And I love your wife, Mandy. I love you.
Oh, she's
Mhm.
chilling.
Yeah, she's so cool.
Yeah, you can come back on. We can talk about aliens.
We should.
I'm good.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Steve Nunn. He's been like the long time, like 3 times, right?
Nah, I don't know. No, there's been a couple people that have been on a handful of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks for coming on.
it.
Appreciate
Yeah, man,
it.
always.
Chad Beecher. Peace.
Pink shorts.
Thank you for hanging out with us on this episode.
Appreciated as always, and if you have any questions, comments, ideas, or guest suggestions, leave them in the comments after you subscribe to the channel, or visit chroniccuriosity.com to get in contact with us.
and the store, which you can pick yourself up some fantastically curious merchandise.
Until next time. That's it.